Hello. Well, for those of you watching the recording, I have just opened the meeting, but since this is our first meeting, I only have a few people showing up early, and then the rest of you a bit later. And here we go. Some people are arriving. So if you're watching the recording, you can just fast forward about half an hour. Hi, Blas.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
Oh, good. I just got into my Bakersfield house.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect. I'm
yeah.
so
So
glad
barely made
you
it.
have around.
Yeah, I do.
That's great. So, since this is our first meeting and I had some new people, I invited them to join us early, so that I could tell them all about the Zoom and the yes and the no and all of that. But I'm not seeing anyone in yet. Um, I think I invited people to join in in 15 minutes and then in half an hour, right? Let me go to the email to see when to expect the majority of students to show up. Give me a second. I've got, here we go. I've got Georgia, who has been in my class before, but not much. Arrived. 318. Hi, Georgia.
Hi, how are you?
Nice to see you.
Yes, nice to see you.
It's been a little while,
Yes, yes.
and I'm glad you're here. And I am, let me bring this down. I was going to look at the email that I sent to remind me. Um, hmm. So what's the schedule that I told people to join us? Hold on.
I don't remember that. Just I just grabbed it and got the
Yeah, no, that's great. But just to know when to expect, because I just told some people who are new to me.
uh
Um,
I'm sure you did, and I don't
Zoom link for first class. So I said either at 1 or at 1:15 or at 1:30. Okay. So at 1 was people who haven't, been done classes with me before or for whom it's been a long time. When just to see if there's like three people that I don't know in the roster that I was hoping would be showing up. And then 1:15 is most everyone else because I need to show handouts and things like that. And then 1:30 is for the people who basically have just been with me in class and remember where everything is. So anyway,
well,
I
I
was
come
trying.
back
No,
1:15.
no, Georgia, that's fine. No, I'm not. Blast has also been in my class. If you're here, you're here. I'm just it's not that far from 1:15 anyway, 10 minutes. I was just trying to um look at the roster and see um who is or isn't supposed to be showing up. So give me 1 second. Um, oh, here's someone who wants to join us. Um,
I'm going to turn my picture off if that's okay.
for now, yeah. And then when you remember everything about where to get the class handouts, all that kind of stuff, or not really?
Not sure I do. So I mean, I'll listen to you, but I will try
You're
not.
welcome to pop out and pop in again in
Okay.
10 minutes if you prefer.
Well,
Um,
I'll be here, but
be just in the background. Okay, here. I'm looking for. Let me just talk to. There's a student wanting the email for this class who doesn't have it. Okay, so let me get this person the link. Okay, there we go. I just needed to send this to a student who sent me an email about wanting to join. Okay. Anyway, so I know that both Blas and Georgia know how to do the basics, so I am going to Lulu. But if you're watching this recording, please advance to 1:15, so like 15 minutes in from the beginning of the class, where hopefully I will have new students arrive. And if you know how to do all the stuff I'll teach new students, then advance this half an hour to what would be 1:30, which is when I will have the rest of the class join the group, and we'll start with the iLife class per se at 1:30. Okay, just telling. And meanwhile, I will wait for people to join. I'm gonna look at the roster now to see who should be joining us. Who is new to the class? Hi, Ellen. Nice to see you. So, Alan, if you can hear me, we have a little bit of time until the rest of the group join the class, and this might be a good time to practice if you want to share your screen, see if I can help you get ready for class. I know some other times it's been a bit hard for you to to follow through with that? Do you think you want me to try? We have about 10 more minutes before most people join us. Alan, can you hear me? Alan, can you see if you can click on the audio button to unmute yourself so that you can talk to me? I know that you've been able to do that in the past. There you go. You've unmuted yourself. Can you say something? I can't hear you, and I know my sound is up because I was hearing Georgia before. So can you see if you can try again to say something, Alan? See if I can hear you. Okay, I'm not hearing you. Can you write in the chat to see if maybe it's your sound needs to be fixed or something? You did unmute yourself, but I don't hear you. So are you talking? If you're talking, I'm going to write in the chat now and say, okay, so now, Alan, you have muted yourself this time, so I wouldn't hear you. Hi, Marta. Oh, I have some new people joining.
Good
Well,
afternoon.
hi, Marta. How are you? So I
Good.
we're waiting for a couple. So finally, I see a new people joining right now. New people, new student person. There we go. Hi, Carla. Can you hear me, Carla? Welcome.
Yes, hi.
Hi, nice to meet you. How are you?
Likewise.
Was looking forward to meeting some new students and glad you joined us. Let me bring this down. I'm letting people in as we speak, but most of the people who are here have taken my class before. But you are kind of new to me, and then someone who is appearing on their iPad is also new to me. Hi, who are you?
Hi, my name is Demetria,
Hi, Demetria.
and this is my first class with you. I'm familiar with Zoom, and I'm familiar with shared drives, but when I go in my drive, I don't see anything.
Okay, so I'm going to go check and see right now whether the roster is correctly shared with the group. So thanks for sharing that with me. Let me go see, because sometimes, are you new to the school perchance or just to my class?
Uh, well, I mean, I've been taking classes
Okay,
for several months. Is
that's
that
fine. So
okay?
you're not completely new, but
No,
you
no, huh?
started because some people who've joined the class this session, so let's say the spring session, but weren't students before, have been having issues getting the folder. So that's why I wanted to know, but it could be that, but just in case it is that, I'm going to share the folder directly with you. That way, there's no chance that you won't get it. They said it's something in pipeline and we're trying to figure that out, but anyway. Let me see now. Okay, I just shared it directly with you, so hopefully this time when you go check it pops up. Now, I haven't talked yet to Carla about it and the rest of the students, but I just wanted to make sure since you mentioned that, I'll take care of that anyway. So,
Okay, thank you.
hi. So Demetria, I don't have the roster in front of me. Could you tell me, do you know how to change your name? I just added the word Demetria to your name in your video. I don't know if you see that, but I
Yeah,
also need your last name and I don't know it. Do you,
it's Fenzi.
okay? Let me rename can you spell that?
Fenzi.
Okay, there we go. So now, Carla, you already have your last name and everyone else here has it as well. I'm speaking, hi Yolanda, by the way, I just saw you show up. So everyone else who's here other than Carla and Demetria, you guys know me, so I'm gonna hang in there for a minute with you guys, but let me talk to Carla and Demetria for a minute. A few things about how I do the Zoom class and one of the things that I do is I make sure that people are working at the same time that they're in class with me. So when I do something and I show something, I expect you to be doing it and, practicing it as well. And then I'm going to go, okay, if that worked for you and everything is good, give me a yes. If something didn't work, give me a no or raise your hand. And that is something I'm going to say like 250 times during the class. So what do I mean by say, give me a yes or a no or raise your hand? So down in all the buttons, there's one that's a little heart that's a react button. And when you open that, there's all kinds of cute little rocket ships and smiley faces. But somewhere in the middle, not the thumbs up, but under the thumbs up, there's a green check mark and a red X. If you see them, can you give me a yes? And everyone else who's here, if you're waiting it up or if you're listening in, please do that. Now, Demetria, or Georgia, you just gave me a thumbs up. Did anyone see a thumbs up flying through? That's Georgia's thumbs up. Notice that in about 2 seconds, her thumbs up is going to disappear versus Carla's yes is still there. Does that make sense? And the reason when I want to look at the whole class and see a sea of green, then I move on with the next thing, right? So if I see some reds, I'll go around and say, okay, how can I help you, Marta? Or how can I help you, Sophia? Or whoever's given me a red. So everyone give me a no because all it takes is clicking the no. You don't need to turn one on or off. So go ahead and check on the no, which is right next to the yes. And then if you want to turn it off, which most of the time you wouldn't, unless I've answered your question and now maybe by answering Blas's question, suddenly Demetria is like, oh, now I understand because that was my same question. So then you could switch it to a yes, so you might switch it to a yes or to a no. But I would request you don't turn them off because what I do is I wait until I see everyone that's green and then I'll just do that myself. I'll go right now and boom, I've turned everyone's answers off and then I go off to the next thing and then again I see. So if you say yes and then you click on the yes again, it turns itself off and then I'll be like, oh, Carla, you didn't answer. And you'll be like, yes, I did. Well, but you had clicked twice on it. Does that make sense? So we just leave it on until I clear everyone's answers and then we're ready to go. The next thing that I do right under that is the raise your hand. So say you have a question. I'm in the middle of talking about something and you're just suddenly going, can you say that again? Well, then just speak up, right? Just say, can you say that again? But if say that you have a question about something that's been that you thought of or that's been bugging you, but it isn't quite like I'm in the middle of something, well, you can just raise your hand. And so when you raise your hand, go ahead and click on the raise your hand. Um, Whoever raises their hand first will pop up. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Everyone raise your hands. And when you do that, the person who raises it first, for example, Carla right now raised her hand. And so when I'm done with my sentence or my theme or whatever I'm doing with, I'll go in order and I'll say, okay, Carla, you're first. What's your question? When hers is answered, I'll go, hey, Marta. She was the next. Hey, Blas. Then it'll be Dimitria, right? Because that's the order in which you raised your hands. Okay. And then when you're done, I'll just lower your hands as I answer each question, and then we're gonna go. Now, sometimes, again, when I answer Blas's question, then Georgia's got answered because she had the same question. Well, you're welcome to lower in your own hand. All right. So between the speaking up when it's just like, can you say that again, or can you clarify that? That's a perfect moment. When you have a question that's a bit more, hey, this happened to me and that happened to me, and you kind of need a whole then that's a great raise your hand question. The next thing is the chat. You might have noticed that in the chat, there's nothing there. So I'm going to say good afternoon, which I'm not normally so official, so polite. I might just go, hey there, hello, whatever you're going to say. I want everyone to, when they arrive to class, give me a little hello. I'm here. That helps me for attendance because it registers your name. And so when you give me a hello and there's everyone, please go and give me a little greeting in the chat. Hi, Linda. So everyone head over to the chat and give me a little greeting and tell me that you're here. And that's a good time to check and see if your first and last names are in there. Now, if your name was already there, like Carla, it just came up with your last name, that's fine. But Demetria, since your name didn't come in this time, it won't come in next time either. Like it's Zoom has your name or doesn't. So either you learn to change your name each time or you remind me what your name, first and last name are each time and I'll change it for you. Or you change it in the settings of your Zoom. There's 3 different ways to do that. But normally you're in an iPad. The way it is on a computer, you hover over your own name and you long click, and then one option is to rename yourself. So maybe you want to give that a try. Oh, I see you did because you took the iPad off. Oh, so you already did. There you go. Because I had left the iPad on. The reason I left the iPad on actually is, in fact, is because it was good to know that you were on iPad, because some of the commands are different. But I remember it now because I had seen your name there, so I'll remember it. Whenever I say what things to do, sometimes it's a bit different on an iPad. Okay. Yolanda, I see that you're saying you're present, but you can't see yourself. I do see your photo of you, not your video. So I do see you. Maybe you need to, if you want to turn on the little video or click on the video icon to actually see your video. But I do see you. I think you must have been like on the other side of your own window. There you go. Now I see your real you. Hi. All right. So notice that Yolanda just told me that in the chat. So that's a great thing. When I'm in the middle of teaching or whatever, it's not as, no, you don't really need to raise your hand and interrupt the class for that, but you just want to say something that you want me to know. The chat's a good place. Also, the chat's a good place when you can't hear me or I can't hear you, or not you can't hear me, but like if you're talking to me and I can't tell, you might want to go to the chat because your sound might be off. Like right now, I was trying to talk to Alan, but when he was talking to me back, I couldn't hear him. So I wrote it to him in the chat. So the chat is like plan B, but it's always plan B. I look at it less than I look at the rest of the places. So if you have a question that's like completely off topic, like, well, I have this thing that has nothing to do with the not. I mean, it's still about photos and that, but it's off topic of what I'm teaching that day. That's a good thing to put in the chat. So I'll see it, and then when I have a minute, I'll answer that question, but it won't be like I'll answer it directly or immediately. Okay?
Diana,
Yes.
so because I cannot see myself in here, it's like I'm not attending.
I see
Uh,
you.
but in my in my iPhone, there was something like if my iPhone is connected to this, how do I turn this on to connect with?
Yeah, I don't want you to connect with the iPhone. I know that you've done this before, but since we're going to be using the iPhone for the class, it's better if it doesn't stay connected to the Zoom right now. I do see you. I see you moving. I see what you're wearing. So you're not seeing yourself. I even see your earrings. You're fine as far as class is concerned. You don't really need to see yourself to attend the class. You need to see me and the window that I share. So if you don't see yourself, that's really not an issue right now. I assure you that I do see you, so you're fine.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Now let me talk a bit about what I want you to go grab. So we're going to be using, for those of you who have Mac computers, your Mac computer. If you don't have one, that's fine. If you have an iPad, we'll be using iPads. If you don't have one, that's fine. If you have an iPhone, then bring your iPhone. If you don't have one, that's fine. If you have a smartwatch, whatever you have with you that's Apple, bring it over. Now, some of you guys don't have Apple devices and you have Windows machines or Androids. If so, I need to know that. So right now, give me a yes if all your devices are Apple. Give me a no if one of your devices is not Apple. And how we handle that is different. So give me a yes or a no. By the way, that's another example of me using the yeses and the nos. It's not like it's negative or positive. It's just separating people so that I can see who to ask. Okay, so Demetria, what devices do you have that are Apple? Obviously the iPad.
So everything is Apple with the exception of my PC.
Okay,
And,
so you
and
have,
I'm not actually so I'm on my iPad. I have my iPhone right here. I've got my iWatch right here as well.
okay. So then here's the suggestion that I have. Since you do have a PC computer, some people don't, and what they have is an iPad, but if you do have a PC computer, I would suggest that you could connect, and this is for everyone who has a second device available or an iPad available, to connect here with your either your two devices. Let me explain why now. Or for sure, in your case, Demetria, with your PC computer, if you connect to the Zoom, that will free up your iPad or your phone to use them to follow the class. Does that make sense? And you'll just watch me on the PC if that's at all possible for you. Otherwise, if you're watching me on the Zoom on the iPad and then I'm having you do things in your Photos app, you'll be either or. Does that make sense?
Well, but I can work on my phone.
Okay, it's different what we can do on the computer than on the phone, and I'm going to be teaching for both, so that's fine. iPad and phone are more similar, so that's good. Still, I'll be having you check the settings of both, as long as you're okay with sometimes not seeing me while you do stuff on your iPad, and then you bring me up to see me again. If you're comfortable with that switching, that's fine. Um, for the rest of you, if you have a Mac computer, definitely connect with your Mac to the class. And then when we're using the Mac itself to learn how to use the Photos app on the Mac, because a lot of the class has to do with what we do on our computer and on our other devices, but definitely on our computer. Then we will, oh, Carla, either, oh, here she's coming in again. She dropped out. Um, Here we go. Hi, Carla. There we go. So did you connect on a different computer or a different device? Okay. So a lot of times I recommend being on two devices, and let me explain why, and then you can make a choice, because if you do get on two devices, you have to turn the sound off on one of them, because otherwise the microphones are a problem. But what happens then is that you can watch me on one while you work on another. And then while we're working on this one, you watch me on the other, right? So as you that otherwise when I share my screen, which I'm about to do right now, I'm gonna take over your whole screen, and then it might be harder to use your own device. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna share my screen. And what I have right now is an empty desktop, so that's all you're going to see. But for those of you who are working on your computers, when I shared my screen, for many of you guys, my desktop just took over your desktop. Okay. If so, if I now were to say, okay, let's go open your Photos app or something like that, and I open my Photos app, what you're seeing is my Photos app, not yours. And I need you to then grab this window that just opened up and move it sideways. So first you need to hit your escape key to disconnect it from the edges, because many times Zoom kind of clips itself to the edges. The escape key is on the top left key on your keyboard. So if you click on that there, then you can, um, hold on. I just changed where my keyboard goes on the computer, and I'm still a bit confused by that. Here we go. I just finished setting up a whole new setup here in my office, and I'm still getting the wrong mouse. Here we go. So if you move this out of the way, and if I'm saying go ahead and click on favorites or click on this or whatever, you're watching me do it, you need to be doing it parallel. So you might need to move me over sideways so that on the other half of your screen, you can have your photos. Does that make sense? Or if you have a second device, then you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to stop this share right now. And before we're about to jump into the class, people are 2 more minutes, we're going to have more students here. But the last thing I need to know is if everyone knows how to share their screen. So in particular, I'm going to check in with Carla and Demetria, because I know other students who are here have done that before. Although I don't know, Georgia, if you remember, since it's been a while for you. So, well, I don't know how much of a while, but enough. So, if you run into issues, which you can't, or you want to show me something that's different and you don't know how to explain it, I'll say, okay, share your screen. If you're a Mac student and you've never shared your screen, then we need to do all these different like permissions that take a bunch of time the first time, and then you're done and you never need to give permissions again. And then it's a quick minute to share your screen like I did. I just did tick, tick, and it goes. So it's 2 buttons. Carla, you want to give it a try first? Have you shared your screen before?
I have, but I'm on my PC and I'm going to be using my Mac. Did you want me to?
Oh, perfect. Well,
But I
here,
know how to share. I could also show you my Mac if anything.
no, and that's what I was going to say. In your case, since you're going to watch me on the PC and work on your Mac, that's a perfect example of you should connect twice. Because if you need to share your screen, the screen you have to share is your Mac screen, and you won't be able to share your screen if you're not connected. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But you can keep this one sitting there watching the whole thing. And
Okay.
then on Zoom on the Mac, you just minimize Zoom and you're just have it sitting there. And then at some point you go, oh, I need to share you something. And you open it up and there it shares just,
Okay.
or you might want to wait to connect until that situation comes up. But if you haven't shared on your Mac, I would like you to try and connect so that we can practice that. Because the Mac of all things, when you first share, you have to go through all these system settings permissions, and then we can walk
Oh,
through that right now. Okay.
okay.
Hi, Owen. Hi, Mary Jean. Nice to see you guys. Owen, haven't seen you in a while too. How are you? All right, we're just going over sharing screens, and I'm just checking in on the people who are new or who haven't been in class for a while. Let me check in with Demetria, and then I'm going to come over to you, okay? So, Demetria, do you know how to share from your iPad? Okay, if you were to have to share your Photos app right now, you would have to flip this out and then go to your Photos app. Can you do that? Okay, I can't hear you. You're muted. So if you're speaking to me, you need to unmute yourself. There
It
we go.
says I'm sharing my screen right now.
Yes, you're sharing your Zoom. So now if you have a question about something that's happening in your Photos app, you would have to flip out and go and click on your Photos app. That way you can share your Photos app, and then there we go. We can answer whatever questions you have. Okay, perfect. There you go. Ready to go. So I'm going to stop your share. That's what we're going to do. Perfect. Flying colors. Carla, I see you're on your Mac now. Let's test sharing with your Mac because, and go ahead and you're going to have to, first of all, on one of the two computers, probably whichever you prefer to listen from, go ahead and go to the audio. And next to the audio button, there's a tiny little like upwards pointing triangle. Click on that one. And then from the bottom up, the second choice is leave computer audio. So on one of your two devices, say leave computer audio. That way you can unmute yourself. Because if you unmute yourself to talk right now, it's going to be a huge microphone thing. So go to the, and if you need me to remind you how to do that, let me know. But otherwise, I need you to walk me through what you're doing. And that's why I need to hear you.
Okay, so I just clicked on the share button.
Hold on. See
And
that sound that's
oh,
happening?
I know. Let me turn the volume down. There we go.
No, it's not volume down. Keep speaking. It'll still.
Oh no, I just turned it off from my PC so
Turn
that
it
it wouldn't echo.
Okay, good.
Okay,
All right. So,
so
let me just say hi to people who just showed up. Let me see. Hi, Rodney. I'm glad you got my email. And hi, Mary Jean, which I had said hi before, but I couldn't see you. Now I can see you.
No,
Rodney,
I also, Diana, I also am on my iPad as well, so I,
all right. So if you're on your iPad and like we just talked with Georgia, if you ever get stuck and you want to share with me something that's happening on your iPad, you'll have to connect with your iPad. The suggestion of just pointing like that on the screen, everything looks really tiny. It's very hard, certainly not for a computer, maybe for a little bit on the iPad, but let's wait and see. Rodney, just a reminder, you need to send your registration and the one that the sheet that I attached to the email, okay? Because I send you the link temporarily, just but you're not in the class yet. So if you need the class files, you won't be able to get them because it only allows registered people in. All right, Carla, let's go walk you through this process. First of all, click on the share button.
okay.
And then when you do that, another window pops up. In the bottom of that, there's another share button that's blue with white letters that says share.
Yes. Uh-huh.
That one. Now it's going to say something about open system settings.
Correct.
Click on open system settings, click on that and say okay or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Now, the next window that you're seeing on the right side, this has two columns. On the right side, you find the word Zoom, and it'll have like a little slider button that you need to turn on. Go ahead,
Yeah.
click on that slider button.
Okay.
Good. Now it'll say something like sign in or put in your password.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna need an administrator's name. Since this is my school computer, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Oh, bummer.
Oh, that's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, you know what, Diana, then I guess I'll have to configure out this first before I
Yeah.
can even move on with your class.
No, it's not a big deal. Go on to class. You just won't be able to share your screen. Go ahead and
Okay.
handle it between here and Wednesday or between Wednesday and Monday. If someone can figure out how to live, you give you permission to share your screen,
Yes.
explain why, and then next time when it's ready, it's ready. Just that I'll have to walk you through problems and demo it. And sometimes it's faster when something is really complicated to just see where you're stuck and move.
Right.
But you can still take the class, no problem.
Okay. I
Right.
apologize for that.
Thanks for trying. No biggie. All right. So Mary Jean, I see you joined us with a second device. When you unmute yourself, you're gonna have this echo. So you need to turn the one of the sounds of the devices off. Go ahead and I see you unmuted yourself on one of them. Can you speak?
yes.
Okay. That's working. Hi, Angelina. Hi, Josie. Okay, so Josie,
Okay, I've muted the
but even though you
iPad.
muted, you hear that like second sound that's happening. That's because it's not about muting, it's about disconnecting the audio from the second device. So either find a way on an iPad. I don't know how to disconnect the audio. I never have been able to walk you
Okay.
through that. So no, so keep the audio on, like on the audio, and then on your computer, go to the audio button, and next to the audio button, there's a little tiny arrow that points upwards. Click on that one, and from the bottom up, the second choice is leave computer audio.
Okay, good. I will do that if necessary. I do need to leave at 2:30. Apologies.
No, that's fine. You had mentioned that. Okay, great. All right. Owen, do you remember how to share your screen? Is all of that clear? Do you want to give it a try? Give me a little share and I'll walk you through it otherwise. And then I think we'll be
Okay.
ready to get
Did-
going.
Did it work? Oh, here.
Oh, so it's share and then share again. Great.
Okay.
It's working. Okay, I'm stopping your share. I think everyone else has been tried and true. Georgia, do you remember how to share your screen?
I remember, I think I know how to share my,
Walk you through it once.
okay,
So
so-
share, green share button first.
all right, I just did that.
Then the blue button with white letters that says share on the bottom.
Yeah.
There it is, and it's sharing. That's great. Perfect. Now, when you've already shared your screen before, as long as you've done the permissions, which you have because you've been in class with before, it's easy. It's just that bing, bing, 2 clicks. But
So,
the first time, which is what Carla's running into, you have to do permissions and stuff. And so if someone has never shared the screen before, it's a little process, but it looks like for most of you guys, you've all taken one or another of my many classes. And those of you who haven't are already set, like Demetria. So I think we're ready to go. Cool.
what happens with now, should I be joining, with my phone yet?
No, when I say that you need to have your devices near you, you'll be using them as I give you examples. I'll share my phone, but you don't have to connect your phone. In fact, the one thing you can share is your computer screen, but it's almost, I'm not going to say impossible because Demetria knew how to do it, but it's very hard for people who don't know how to share their iPads or their phones to actually do so, because it's a whole different, way of sharing. And unless you're really comfy with your devices, for the most part, most people won't be sharing their phones or their iPads. They'll just be using them for the class. But you'll be sharing, if you need to share, you'll be sharing your computers. Okay. All right. So now I have a phone that I'll be using to share, and I have a oh, here comes Demetria. Is that your computer? What's this one that you're on right now? Oh.
So it's a second iPad.
It's a second iPad. Okay, great. So whenever people have 2 devices, I always recommend using the second device to watch and then the first one to do the work in, which is kind of what she's setting up here right now. So that's good. Oh, no, you're in here only once. Okay, and then here comes Kristen. Okay. I don't think I have any other new people joining us, so I think we're ready to go. Thank you everyone for your patience while we got the class set up and running. And now, welcome to Living the iLife. Crazy name for this class. Hi, Kristen.
Hi.
You popped in to hear the words "Welcome to Living the iLife," so your timing was impeccable because
How
we've been
fun.
answering all the tech stuff until now.
Yeah.
So it's perfect. All right. Let me see. I'm gonna turn this light on. Oh. It's not connected? Oh, because that computer is not on. Okay. Let me
Right, I'll be right back.
have a little light here that I need to connect because it's kind of dark in here. The sun is streaming in. So when I close I close the light so it won't be in my eyes, but then it's kind of there. That's a bit better. You guys can't tell the difference, but I turn on a light where I can see my keyboard. Okay. Here we go. First of all, this class, just to clarify what we're going to be doing in this class, is all about those photos that you take. 90% if you take 90% in the past, maybe you are different, of students who take this class take their photos with their phone. Now and then I'll have students who take photos on their iPad, but sometimes, but for sure everyone uses their phone. And then many times people also have DSLRs or, you know, the trend. I don't know if you guys know, but there's a trend again. If you go into stores, people are selling little point and shoot cameras again. It's the new trend.
Mhm.
People who are trying to disconnect from their phones a lot. And so kids now are who have been addicted to their phones are discovering, oh, there's such a thing as a point and shoot, which we probably haven't seen anyone using their little point and shoot cameras in, I'd say 5 to 7 years. And now I was at Costco yesterday and there it is, $72, a little point and shoot, following the trend that I've been hearing about, right? Um, Either way, wherever you take your photos, it doesn't matter. This is the class for you. Photos and videos. And that's what we're going to be doing. Now, if you take your photos on an Android, it's a little bit different. Sometimes I have people who have, you know, the combination of Mac, PC, Mac. So, but just to be clear, photos on an Android. Does any one of you guys have an Android phone? There's always one or two. No one today? You're all iPhone people?
Yeah, I finally switched over.
Okay, who was that? I'm sorry, who said that? Oh, there you go, Owen. Okay, you were one of the ones who was back and forth. Okay, there's always a couple of others, but that's fine. Now, why am I saying there's a couple of others in this class? Why would it be appropriate to come here if you have an Android? It's because a lot of people also have Mac computers, even though they have an Android phone, and then they handle their phones on the Mac computer, or vice versa, which would be, I believe, Demetria's example, where she has iPhone devices, sorry, Apple devices, and then she has a PC computer. So in your case, we're going to be talking, and since you have an iPad, most of your organization and all that will be done on the iPad instead. I will 90% of the time be demoing computer and phone. I do have an iPad here, but it is very old and very slow. And when I've tried to share from it, many times we crash. So I'm not sure, unless it's really necessary, I will not be using the iPad to share unless it becomes absolutely essential. But the whole point is that the iPad is going to be many times identical to the iMac or to the Mac, sorry, to the Mac system, or the iPhone. It's going to choose one or the others. It's going to do things exactly like the iPhone or exactly like the computer. So if I'm sharing the phone or the computer, whatever things I'm sharing on those two, that's where you'll find it on the iPad. So depending on the size of the effect, it'll be like one or like the other. So it's not usually a big deal. But when I talk about system settings and options and how we're going to set things up, people who have 3 devices, are gonna have to go and check those settings on all 3 devices. If you have 2 devices, if you have one, then on one of the devices. But the settings that I'm talking about are a big part of what we're going to be having to understand to figure out where our photos go. What does the iCloud have to do with it? How do we incorporate it? Do the photos stay in one place or another? So all that conversation is about the settings that are in these devices, okay? So we're going to be taking you to the settings of all your different devices, and we're going to making sure that all the things are correct. And those of you who have photos outside of these devices, like I said, maybe you use a DSLR, maybe you use a point and shoot camera, maybe you receive photos from an email that it got sent or you downloaded it from a website. So photos can come into the computer in many different ways. We're going to figure out how to handle those photos in all those different circumstances. So now, since I believe that you're probably most of the people who are going to be here at this point, everyone who's here is here. Let me get a bunch of responses. First of all, if you take photos on a device that's not your iPhone, so any other device that you take a photo on, then give me a yes. Like, yep, I take photos on other devices. Okay, Mary Jean, remember that instead of the thumbs up, please look right underneath the thumbs up. There's a yes or a no, because the thumbs up is about to disappear, but the yes will stay. Okay, so go and find the little green yes. Okay, so if you take photos on a different device, give me a yes. All right, so now I'm going to call on you to tell me what kind of, what is that you use? So Georgia, what do you use other than the phone?
I download photos sometimes from emails, usually for class purposes, but not always. I also do screenshots Uh, that's the main thing, either
Okay. So screenshots from your phone or from your computer or both?
computer.
Okay, so that's great. Everything you've mentioned is not really a separate device. It's still Mac devices. So I'm thinking like point and shoot cameras or DSLRs. So the both of the things that you mentioned we will address, but they get handled inside of the whole Mac system. So we're good on that one. All right, Angelina, what do you use?
I use the DSLR camera.
Okay, great. And do you take and maybe you are if you already do that, if some people don't, and I'm asking and I'll teach you, but if do you take the card out and plug it into your computer or do you put a little cable between your device and your computer? What
No,
do
I take the little card out.
Okay, great. I was going to recommend that. Some people put the cable in, and that's not the best way. The best way is always to take the card out and put it in. So good,
Okay.
you doing that. And then we're going to figure out and how to import and what to do. Now, Marta, what do you use?
Occasionally a DSLR, and I use a memory card. Most photos are with my iPhone at this point.
That's great. Demetria.
So I have a Sony RX10, and I take the card out and put it in my actual PC.
Oh, Windows PC then. Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't even, so do you have any way to incorporate those photos then into the flow of your iPhone photos or
Yeah.
Apple photos?
Yeah.
What do you use? When you put them in your PC, then how do you put them in the cloud? How do you just
It depends. I mean, I can put them in the cloud, I can put them in Lightroom, and then Lightroom, I can share Lightroom between devices, or it just
got it. So clear, let me just clarify my question. Because I also teach all the Photoshop classes, all the handling your images classes and all that. So I see that you've got a whole bunch of other stuff behind you. I teach Illustrator and design, so I understand that you're doing that kind of thing. That said, do you take the photos that you take with your iPhone? They live in a Photos app that belongs to the iPhone, and do you combine those on your phone with the ones that you take on your computer, or do you keep them separate? That you take on your DSLR, or do you keep them separate? Like on your phone.
no,
Can you show that DSLR photo on your phone?
yeah.
Through what app?
It depends on what I'm doing. Sometimes I'll just email it to myself. Sometimes Lightroom you can share and go in between,
Okay.
or
So
the
basically
cloud.
you have different apps. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to show you that you could have them all in one app, which is the Photos app. So that just trying to understand how much you already do or not do or want to do. Because by the way, you don't have to put every photo that you take on your DSLR into your phone app. Just so you know, it's just as a possibility that I'm gonna, so I have an idea of your background. So this is just a fact-finding mission to know how to support and thank you. So you
Well,
guys,
I have a bunch of them in my Photos app too.
Okay.
So, because it kind of my Photos app kind of goes across everything.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say, because you could cross-reference everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And I want to make sure that many people don't know how to do that. Looks like you do have that set up. Okay, good. Mary Jean, how about you?
I just use the iMac, my Mac, and my iPad. That's all.
Okay.
What's
So-
a DSLR?
The big
Just-
the digital camera, like the big old, like when you see people with the big old Nikons and Canons
Yep.
and all that. Yep, there we go. She's showing, a big, you said you have a Sony, you mentioned? Yeah. So just
No, I just use
I don't
my,
know, I'm looking at Demetria because
Oh, okay.
she's pulling it up for people to see. So that's
oh, wow. Okay.
yeah. Mm.
Okay.
So a lot of people is anyone using a point and shoot? The ones that we used before the phones came around and then many of us kept using until finally we gave up and started using our phones. Does anyone use one of those? So I have like 5 of those in some rotting bag. I was teaching the digital cameras, digital photos for many years with those photos with those apps, and now we've all basically replaced them with the phones. Well, guess what? You will find if you do Thanksgiving with young kids that they're like, or Christmas, that they're maybe going back to the old DSL, the old little point and shoots now, if they're the kind who are trying to disconnect from their phone. All right, that's about it, I think, for people who are doing things with alternate devices. I'm gonna clear your answers. Yes, Georgia, you have a question?
Yes, when I bring something for out of email, I don't normally put it into my uh my computer's photo app. I usually just file it as a file in my documents.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about that quite a bit. There's times and choices for that. For the most part, if it's something that uh, say that it's a work project, right? And you get a photos for a brochure that you're designing for something or another. Yeah, those are photos that you're going to use for that project. So you're going to put them in a place where photos work for that project. If you're using the Adobe apps, if you're using PowerPoint, whatever you're using to make that, you make a folder in your documents, you put that in there. That's one thing. But if it's you receive a photo that is your granddaughter's second birthday and it's a beautiful photo and you want to keep it, then that's a photo that you should put in your Photos app. We're going to be talking about when and where and how. And so it's like in the Photos app would be photos that you want to keep seeing and viewing and having, and we're going to learn how to find them, how to record them, how to make albums that you can search, how to make keywords. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do to make that be a really efficient and useful place for you to put your photos. It is not efficient anymore to have a photo of your, for example, granddaughter's second birthday. And I'm inventing these examples, by the way. I have no idea who has granddaughters, children, dogs, pets, trips to whatever. I just invent ideas. If I'm talking to you, it's not that I know that Georgia has a granddaughter. I'm just telling everyone else, right? It's just a general example of something that we might normally find endearing that we want to keep. Then that's the kind of thing that we're going to want to keep and find. That's the kind of photo that for sure is going to be in our Photos app. And the photos that we took automatically going to be a Photos app. And we can call them all up whenever we want to, versus we would have to go into our computer, into our Finder window, open our photos, go and find that document, figure out where that folder is that I put that photo, which means you'll never look at that photo anymore, right? So there's a place for putting photos in files and folders, and there's a place which is, other than work, photos that you'll never see again except for a particular project, there's less and less reason to ever have photos that are not inside of a Photos app where you can just pull it up at will when you need it, right? But there's always an example. Someone was saying that they manage rental houses. They had like 5 rental houses and they managed them and they had pictures of them and they're like, that's why I'm not putting them in the Photos app. And I was like, I don't know. If it's your job, you can have an album with all your houses and subfolders for each one of them. And then when someone wants a photo of the kitchen, you just go in there, or the repairman sends you photo. It's like that's still it's your job, but a valid place to sort and store all that would still be your Photos app. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. So I'm just talking about photos that show in that are temporary on your computer or for a project, like I said, for a brochure that someone sends you. You're volunteering for for a puppy rescue and you're putting in a little flyer out or a little Facebook posts of the puppies of the week. Well, that's it. Those will be adopted. You don't need them anymore. Then why do you want to clog your Photos app with each photo of the puppy of the week? Does that make sense? Those are come into my computer and get out of my computer because we're done. Versus my puppy. Oh, my puppy, I want to see all the photos of my puppy and I'm going to keep them until that forever. Does that make sense, you guys? Photos that are temporary versus photos that are permanently part of your job, like say you're a rental landlord, whatever, then the photos become part of your job. And yeah, having them in the Photos app is useful versus a one-off, which would be the puppy of the week that once he's been adopted, you don't need him anymore. The dog you still need. Okay. All right. So we're also talking videos. I keep saying photos, but the Photos app, named Photos app, also handles all the videos that you take on your phone or your iPad. For the most part, if people take videos on other devices like the DSLR, the they for example, my son is a cinematographer. He uses DSLRs to take videos for his movies, for his work, for his everything. He's not going to put those in the Photos app because that have a whole different situation, a different history, and he works on them separately. And many times people who do videos on their DSLRs are that kind. Now, if you're a traveler who travels and takes photos of your trips with your DSLR instead of your phone, and they're still just travel photo videos that you're then going to compile to make a little slideshow or a little video or a little something to show of your trip, then that kind of stuff can also go into your Photos app. Okay, so we're gonna, for now, just assume that we're dealing with, as the class progresses, you'll maybe ask me, how about this kind of thing or that kind of thing? Does this make sense or not? But as I show you how easy it is to find things and to modify them and to edit these photos in the Photos app, you might more and more want to use the Photos app and leave your Lightrooms and your Photoshops and Premiere in those apps to when you're going to go do something really special, really like, I want this one photo to be a 16 by 20 on the mantelpiece in my living room. You're definitely going to tackle it with professional apps. But for the most part, just about every other photo can be handled very well and very quickly with inside of the Photos app that the Apple has, which is very powerful. So those of you who know, and I know some of you have taken my Photoshop classes. I already heard Demetra say she uses Lightroom. Does anyone else have any experience with Adobe products, for example, or any other higher level photo editing apps that you're accustomed to, that you use consistently? Nope. Yeah, I don't see today any of my Photoshop people. Okay, good. Sometimes I have quite a few people. I have some professional photographers who take this class too, and I have sometimes just in general. So now, Demetria, if you notice it's saying something in, you still don't see it in your SBCC drive. In your, not in shared with me, but in shared drives. It's not showing up.
I'm looking in my on my dashboard and under the tab that says email and drive. If I toggle,
doesn't always pop in there. Go ahead and let me share my screen since you're on your iPad. Let me just share you for a second. So guys, for those of you who haven't taken a class with me in a while, what I'm going to share first right now is how to get into your class files. So I'm actually going to open a regular. Oh, by the way, someone had asked what a DSLR stands for. I'm really bad at acronyms, and it's the digital single lens reflex. So I had looked it up because you'll see that many times when people ask about acronyms, I know exactly what they are, what they do. I am a professional photographer. I have many of these guys, but I never remember what acronyms stand for. We just always say DSLR, so I never really bothered to remember. So anyway, that's what it means. Now there's bazillions of brands and kinds and types. It's just the type of camera that basically you're paying a bunch of money for. All right, well, many for the lenses. So we're gonna go, everyone, open up a browser, any browser, because I'm gonna show you how to get to the class files where we're going to have handouts and where we're going to have information and class recordings and links and things like that. So we're going to start by opening a browser. Of course, I'm on a Mac and I'm teaching you how to use a Mac, but you can use any browser that you like. And we're going to write my.sbcc.edu. And I'm going to go ahead and put that link in the chat so that people who don't even want to type that in can use the chat. But the problem with me putting it in chat in this case is that then you might not know, oops, hold on, I'm on my other, well, that you might not know how to go on your own, but you can see how it's spelled, my.sbcc.edu. That's how you get here. And then you want to put in your pipeline username and password. I notice sometimes people don't use this right. If you've had your computer memorize, you don't need to rewrite it. If you see that it's appearing like that, it's because your computer is memorized. All you need to do is click on that. And then if you have the kind of computer keyboard that has a thumbprint that you've figured out, you again don't need to click on enter password and write it. All you need to do is put your fingerprint in there. If you click enter password, then you actually have to enter the password. So anyway, just saying, because a lot of people, I see when they share that they see those things appear and they still write it. Anyway, let's log in. Now I have two-factor authentication for school. So whenever I go into school, I also have to pick up my phone and get a code. which in my Mac classes I tried to teach you about, but this is just exemplifying that when you have that set up for safety purposes, you need to have your phone or your email around. And I've just been sent a code that I picked up from my phone so that I could have two ways. Oh, did I not type in the right thing? There you go. 266-561. Okay, I put 16 too many. There we go. That is letting me in. So basically I have to prove to the computer twice that I am me by knowing the password. But in case someone stole my password, I also have to have my own phone with a code that I can unlock and I can type that in. So that's a two-factor authentication process, which I have set up for school. Okay. Everyone give me a yes when you've made it into the class to my SBCC. I'm going to clear your answers for a second here. So if you've already answered before I cleared your answers, please answer again. I'm taking you to the class files. Remember, this is where after class is over and you want to review, you will have the class recording, you will have the class summary and class handouts. So we're going to head over here on the left side. Now, where Demetria, you were mentioning over here where it says email and drive, because when your window is smaller, which is on an iPad, then you don't see this red bar that's over here. So right now I'm making my window smaller and bigger. And when I do that, that red bar disappears. In which case you see this thing here that says email and drive. I have found that when you go to drive in this instance, it doesn't always take you to the shared drive. Sometimes it does. But sometimes it takes to people's personal drives as well. So this isn't really a very it's not as good a way to access it. So just so you know, there's always a link up here at the top. If you're not seeing the red bar, you can click on that little icon there and it'll pop in an iPad or in a computer. And from here, you can head down to Gmail. When you use this system, even though it's the same to go to this email or to this email, then this one for sure 100% drops you into the pipeline email versus the other one many times leads people to their personal emails. And this is why this is more of a surefire way to get into the school pipeline email. Now, once you are on the email, not only this is, where you get your emails, but also on the far right over here is where you get to see that it says SBCC. That shows you that this is your pipeline email. And right next to that, you see this little icon that has all other Google apps, one of which is the Drive. So we're going to click on that, and then we're going to click on Drive. This also takes you into your personal pipeline drive. If you go the other way, you might end up in a, sorry, not a personal, into your school drive versus into your personal one. That's why I recommend going in this direction. All right, so once you are here, and I'm happy to repeat this process one more time in a minute, but now once you are in your drive, this drive again should say SBCC up here to make sure it's your school drive and not your personal one. Then down here, you go to shared drives. And under shared drive, if all goes well, then you should see your shared drive. Now, Demetria wasn't seeing it. Is that an issue for anyone else? So I'm going to clear your answers. And once you get here and you see your iLife shared drive and you double click, you will be inside your iLife shared drive. If you see it, please give me a yes. If when you get to shared drive, you don't see iLife, then maybe there's an issue with the drive that I need to check in. But I'm seeing a couple of yeses, so that means that it's working, if you're saying yes. Okay. Now, give me a raised hand if you need to ask a question or if you need more help on how to get here again. I will demo it one more time from your dashboard. Okay. If you see the red bar, go ahead and click on the red bar. But if you don't see it, then click on this icon here at the top that is very faint and on top of blue sky, which is a very bad design. And whoever designed this really needs to fix that because it's so hard to see. But these little hamburger icon, when you click on it, it pops open your red bar. And when you see this red sidebar, then we're going to head over to Gmail. Once you click on Gmail, you're going to get into your pipeline email. And then over here on the top far right, once you confirm it's your pipeline email, then next to it, you have the waffle icon. So that's a hamburger icon, and this is a waffle icon. Someone was hungry when they gave them these names. And then the waffle icon, you click on it, and there you choose your drive. Once you click your drive, you will be sent to your personal pipeline drive, which is your files that you own in your drive. Some of you have nothing. Some of you have a welcome because you've never been here. And some of you have a lot of stuff, depending on how much you use that drive. But my files for you are not here. My files for you are under the shared drive icon right there. Now, some people mistake it with the shared with me, and that is not what we need. We don't want the shared with me. That is wrong. We want the shared drives. Now click on shared drives, and this is where you should be seeing the iLife shared drive. When you see it, you double click. Okay, I've done this twice. At this point, I'm going to take questions, and I want to see yeses on everyone before I continue, or I will, if I see that there is no yes, and then you might need to share your screen so I can help you. All right, Mary Jean. Let me just actually really quickly, Demetria, did it appear over there yet? Or I'll get your pipeline email address from you and I'll send it to you again. You're muted, by the way, so if you're speaking, I can't hear you.
No, I put a green check mark.
Oh, you did? Okay. Oh, you're in your second. Oh, there we go. It's in your other device. I wasn't seeing that. All right. Yes, Mary Jean?
So Diana, I have the iPad next to me and I wanted to work off my Mac.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this you should be doing on your Mac, yeah. I mean, you can do it on your iPad, opening a browser on your iPad. You can do it either place. We're just going to the class files. You can see them on your Mac or on your iPad. It doesn't matter. Or on your phone, to say the truth.
Okay. I'll
Just open a browser and type in my.sbcc.edu either on your Mac or on your browser. It does not matter which. Okay. It's better than phone. I don't like to check out the internet.
I did that and I'm on my SBCC.
Okay. So then if you're on my SBCC over here, are you in this folder?
Yes.
Okay. So then
Go to the
click on that little tiny icon if you don't already see your red column,
right.
And then go to Gmail. And then after you go to Gmail,
Yeah.
you're going to go up on the top right and look for this little waffle icon.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Once you get to the waffle icon, you click on Drive.
Okay.
And over here on Shared Drives. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Now, why am I bringing you all the way here? Let me check people's answers, though. I need to see this a little bit bigger so I can make sure. Colette, hi, by the way, you joined us while I was sharing my screen, so I didn't get a chance to say hi to you. Anyone else? I think one more person joined us in between. Nope. Everyone else was already here. Okay, I'm seeing yeses from everyone, so I'm going to clear your answers. And here's what's up with these class handouts. You will be seeing them either as, oh, here comes Barbara. You will be seeing them either as a list when you first arrive or as icons. Either way, it's the same stuff. It's just that you can either click on this thing and see them as a list of the names, or this way and you see them as a little preview. And I have a bunch of good stuff in here. But the one that's at the very top for all of you guys is this one called Zoom Class Links iLife Fall 2025. And when you double click on that, and either it looks like that in this mode, or if you're in icon mode, it looks like this. Whole point is that when you double click on it, you will get into this folder. Let me clear all the other drawings that I've made. And this folder is going to be where each day, well, first of all, here I have a recording of how to do exactly what we just did, right? Up at the top. And I also have a survey that I'm going to ask you guys to fill in a minute. But then over here, I have a link to the class recording, which it's a sample. This is not, we haven't had a class yet, so this isn't this class, and a link to an AI summary. So what these are is the summary right now. When you first signed in, you might have seen that it said that the computer was going to record the class. That's the recording. And then it also said that AI summary or something like that was opened, research artificial intelligence, so which is this one. So Zoom is listening into this whole thing. And not only will it give me a recording, but it's also going to give me, and I'm going to click on this, a summary that I'm going to click on it to go to it. And in third person, it's going to start writing, Deanna led a class using this and this and that. Deanna said this, Deanna said that. Deanna says you should do this. Deanna said you should do that, right? So it's basically a little summary of click here to do that, click here to do that, review this. So the computer picks up on the things that I have told you to do. And next steps. Here it's a click recap, and then it just spends one little paragraph at a time describing what I've been teaching you. Okay. Now, what's up is that when you miss a class, so here I'm going to go back to this folder. You have to catch up. Unless you're, lying in a hospital bed or something, you have to catch up, meaning between Monday and Wednesday, sometimes it's hard to sit and watch something because you don't have time. So ideally, you will try to watch it. But for sure, between Wednesday and Monday, you must watch any class that you missed. Now, most of the times you're not missing a class, hopefully. What you're doing is you're having to leave early for a doctor's appointment or arrive late because, the plumber's there or something like that. So then the class recording, which when you click on it over here, will take you to YouTube. The class recording is the entire, I was wearing a bright color that day, is the entire 3 hours and 46 minutes is that class. Our class, I'm not sure right now. I think it's a little bit longer, or is it the same? Let me see. Yeah, I think this is the 3 hours and 45 minutes. So, oh yeah, this was the summer version of iLife. So what happens is that this is an entire 3 and 45, it's basically a 4-hour recording. So if what you missed was about from here to here, because you went to the plumber arrived in the middle of your class, or if what I said is something that you really want to review and you want to practice more, and I want to see that again, make yourself a note right now in a notepad, put a notepad next to you and say, oh, at 4 p.m. she said such and such, and I want to review it. So if the class starts at 1 and it's 4 p.m., then you need to move up 3 hours. And so you kind of go over here and there it is. That's my, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours have gone by. There we go. That's 4 p.m. That must have been around 4 p.m. And you click over there and then that zooms into whatever I'm showing you at 4 p.m. Does that make sense? And then you review that portion. So if what I said was at 1:30 p.m., that's only half an hour in. So you just go over here and you just have this half hour in is when you're listening to that portion. Okay. So that's how that's going to work. You're expected to catch up for bits and pieces that you missed. And of course, if you, stop my share for a minute. If you missed it, and you still don't understand it after watching the recording, you're always definitely welcome to show up to class the next day. And can you explain that again? I didn't understand that. But it's very different if you just didn't get it than if you didn't even watch it and I move forward and you're lost. And then I don't want to explain the whole thing other from scratch to one person when everyone else is kind of tapping their heels waiting to move on. Okay. So, but if you have questions about it, questions are 100% always welcome, no matter what. I will always answer questions about anything. Now, these are private links. Don't share them with anyone else. The video is a private link. So you can only access it from inside of Pipeline. Sometimes I get people trying to access it from their personal emails and they send me a request to join the class. Nope, you have to go through my SBCC. Pipeline, shared drives, then you will have no problem. But when you try to access it from your Google Drive, that's your personal Gmail, you won't be able to. You need to be registered into the class for able to get to that folder. Okay. That keeps the videos private. So you don't need to worry. No one on YouTube can search you asking questions because those videos are only accessible to people who have that link. All right. It's not a public YouTube video. All right. And then there's other handouts there that you might want to read, and I'll be using some to teach, and you might want to ask questions about after you read them. You're welcome to do that. But there you go. From now on, we are going to start working with the photos and Photos app. That was all the admin stuff. Oh, one last thing, one more admin thing. You need to come to class. Even though the recordings are there, you can't just watch the recordings and not come to class because I have to drop you from the class. These classes are free, yeah, but they're free only because you are attending. So then I have to give you attendance, and the attendance we get reimbursed by the state, but not for you being in the class as a registrant, but rather for you being in class watching. So even though we're on Zoom, this is considered an in-person class. So yes, you can miss a class, of course, but you still have to attend. You will get a pass or a no pass. Don't worry. Pass, no pass might be meaningless to you. You just want to learn, then you don't even care. All you need to do is attend. You'll get a pass unless you're completely clueless. But on the other hand, if you don't attend, even if you know everything, you'll get a no pass. It won't affect you at all. Other than that, we will look like we are not teaching well if people keep being dropped or not passing because they don't attend, then they'll stop funding the program. So please attend the class. All right. That was an appeal to those of you who just go, oh, I'll just watch the recording. Fine. Every now and then watch the recording because you had a thing to do. But don't just take it as a norm, because after 2 misses, unless you chat with me, I will have to drop you from the class. Okay. Any questions of all of the administrative paperwork type of questions before we move on? Nope. Yep, maybe. All good. All right, yay. We will have a break somewhere in the middle. Today, the middle might feel a bit different for you guys because some of you didn't join till half an hour later. But then after class, many times you're accustomed, people have taken many of my classes, you're accustomed that I sit and answer a lot of questions. I beg you ask me your questions in class because the way the schedule is set up for the next 3 classes, so just for a week and a half, I will be teaching at 4:45. I finish this class on the dot because at 5 I teach another class. I teach digital design techniques that ends at 9 p.m. So I will have 0 time to answer a single question in between. I need those 15 minutes to keep my sanity. So after in 3 more sessions that digital techniques finishes, and then I will be more at leisure to stay behind answering questions. But please ask your questions during class. And it's just a quick question at the end. And I keep saying, okay. And next thing you know, I have 5 minutes. So don't ask me a quick question, at least until the 4th class. So that way I don't have to miss my break because I tend to do that and then I don't have a break. All right. All right. So
How, how do we back out of the living the iLife?
folder.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
Right.
web page. You just close the web page or you close your browser or
I could just X the tab.
yeah.
Tab up at the top.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. Until it's a regular web page.
I'm just assuming I don't want to leave it open all the time.
Yeah, you don't definitely, especially if you're not going to be if you're attend the class, you don't have to watch the recordings if you attended the class. It's more as a review purpose or if you missed the class. Other than that, you don't have to. All right. The other handouts, on the other hand, as I speak, and you want to check out the other stuff that I have there, some of them might be useful and you might learn some other stuff aside of that. Okay. The next thing I'm going to ask now, it's about the class, but it's a bit more administrative type of thing, which is what kind of operating systems is everyone using? What kind of computers do you have? Because Apple has just updated, and I updated last night, and I should have held off because I updated last night, and there's been a pretty big shift in the Photos app and how it shows up. Not huge, but you will see when I start sharing that your screen might not match mine, and that's because they made a bit of a every 3 or 4 upgrades, they do something that visually looks different. So I want to show you guys how to find your operating system so that you can all report on what operating system you have. So let me share my screen now. And actually, hold on, I'm going to close my Photos app because it isn't about the Photos app yet. You just have your operating system. All right, so just about everyone, except for people who are on iPads, if you're on an iMac, on the top left of your screen, you will see an apple. And this is your desktop, or no matter what app you have open, whatever you have in the way, always on the top left of the screen, you have an apple. Click on that apple, and it'll say About This Mac. Go ahead and click on About This Mac, and this little window will show up. And I'm going to share just that little tiny window. Now, if the window that shows up when you say About This Mac looks very different, that means you're on an older version, which doesn't even show you this window, then you need to let me know. But if you see this window, then I need you to go down and read to me and type in the chat what it says here. This is Mac Sequoia. And by the way, let me get that again. It matters what version. So 15.7.2. Up to last night, I was in 15.7.1. And between 15.7.1 and 15.7.2, there's been a shift. And I need to know how many of you guys are still in 1 versus 2. So over here in the chat, I'm going to give an example of, I'm going to say Sequoia 15.7.2. Now, there might be someone who's already in Tahoe. If so, I need to know that. Tahoe is the version, the newest version that just came out a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago by now. And some of you might still be in Sequoia, but in a lower number. Some of you guys might be in Sonoma and Ventura. But if you don't see a window like this at all, you might be in Monterey, in which case the window looks very different and it'll say Monterey or Catalina or Sierra. If so, please write those words there for me. Okay? So I need that answer from everyone. Once you've given me an answer, give me a yes. So I don't have to, because on the chat, I can't really check if everyone's answered at a glance. Once you have given me your version of Sequoia or Sonoma or whatever, then give me a yes. And if you don't know how to find this answer, then let me know and I'll help you find this answer. The iPad, let me head over to my iPhone. Give me a second here while I check on the iPhone. I still am trying to make sure that I didn't update on the iPhone so that I have the older version. Because I have my newer version. I have 2 phones. My personal phone that I did update to the latest thing, and then I have the one that I use for teaching, which is a school phone that I didn't update so that I'd have both versions. Let me make sure. Yeah. So I do have both versions of the phones here. So on my iPhone, I am still at 18.71. Okay, Demetria, you're in 18.62. So that means you probably still have the older version. That's good. Well, not that's good. That's good to know. 8.62. So you'll have in your iPhone, you'll have on the same as the iPhone that I'm demoing. Sequoia 15, you'll update after class. Ventura. So Josie, you're in Ventura. Sequoia 15.6.1, 15.6.1. So most of you guys, this is, I wish I hadn't updated I don't know, I updated last night. I didn't think of it. Let me see on this computer, because I could connect on this other computer. Do I have, maybe on this one I didn't update. Hold on, I have 3 computers here. I'm trying to see if one of those might not have the latest version. And no, this one's also the latest version. This was worse. I have Tahoe on this one. So that's even worse, so to say, and that it's even more new. or newer. More new sounds horrible. But I might
Uh-huh.
get into demoing that to show you. Okay. Okay. Now here's the problem with okay, it's okay. I'll just leave my phone unupdated and I'll show you on the phone things that you guys might be seeing, and then I'm going to show you here. Now, what does it take to update? If you're already in Tahoe, you can update, sorry, in Sequoia. You could update to the Sequoia version. Let me just share my screen. When you don't have to update, but what I'm saying is if you're going to, I'm going to go over to the system settings on my computer right now. So this is my computer. I'm not talking phones or iPads right now. I'm talking computers. When you open your system settings and you go to general, it's going to say software update. When you click on software update right now, since I already updated, it's not gonna show me the differences, but most computers will be saying up on top that Tahoe is ready to install. Don't install Tahoe yet. That's not the request I'm asking you to do. But right now, this is a school computer, and it says your Mac is running the latest software updated by organization, which is 15.72. But you guys aren't locked by organization. So you will be seeing, as long as your computer can handle it, that it says that Tahoe is ready to be installed. I don't recommend installing Tahoe yet, but you'll see underneath that, you will see that Sequoia has an update for Sequoia 15.72. Does that make sense?
Should we,
So that's the one. This is the bottom one, the one that I can't demo right now because I already have it done. That's the one that you need to go to for Sequoia. It's up to you. And I just finished teaching all the Mac classes where I teach people about updating, whether you should go up to Tahoe or not, whether you can update or not, what you should do. But if you're in Sequoia, you should be able to update to one more version of Sequoia. Um, if you're going to do that, go for it, because at this point your phones is probably already updated and now your phone might be working differently than your computer. So I would recommend doing the Sequoia, just the Sequoia update, not the Tahoe one. Okay?
should we do that right now?
No, because you're in class and the computer will have to restart. So not right now, after class, or maybe during break, you can do it. Okay? Then Demetria, you're mentioning hesitant to update to 26. That's Adobe. Those numbers are Adobe. We don't yet have, well, that's not true. Sorry, Tahoe is also called 26. I went ahead, since I have 3 computers set up, I updated one of mine to Adobe, sorry, to Adobe, to Tahoe, and I'm checking it out, but I don't recommend yet. You should never update to an operating system right when it first comes out, and it just came out. And I always say give it 3 months or so and wait and see what the reports are like, and da 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 da. If you have a computer that's on the edge of its viability, like it's getting older, it'll take a lot more of your computer power because it's got a ton of artificial intelligence as part of how it works. Now, the whole artificial intelligence conversation can sound scary or exciting depending on what side of that thing you are. But just so you know, for those of you who you're not trying to get the computer to take over your life, doesn't mean that it's not using artificial intelligence. In fact, the Photos app is going to use artificial intelligence. I'm going to show you in quite a few things as well. And it's just tools. You click a button and you think you're just the computer doing it, but it's using this new way of working, which is artificial intelligence, which takes up a lot more computer power and energy. And so you might have a computer that's on the edge of not being able to upgrade anymore, and then it's going to slow it down. If so, you shouldn't upgrade. But if you have a computer that's much how do you call it? If you have a computer that's much, pretty new and powerful, then you should be fine. I'm still on hold. When I teach all these classes in the spring session, I will have more feedback for you on whether I think that you should or not update to that on your computer. I have not updated my phone yet to 26.1. I'm waiting to see. I'm just testing it on the computer. So we're at a point where many times I teach when people are all on the same operating system, and then I teach when some people are only a little bit different, but we're right at a point where there's a big shift. The new operating systems are shifting quite a bit because of artificial intelligence, and so I'd say hold off for a little bit. All right. Right now, whenever I share my screen and yours says something very different, let me see. Did someone say Tahoe? I'm looking at, no. Okay, so other than Josie who said Ventura, most of you guys are in Sonoma or Sequoia. So Mary Jean, you're in Sonoma. Oh, Mary Jean had to leave early. She's probably not here anymore, right? No, she's not here. Okay, those of you who are in Sonoma, it's either because your computer can't go up to Sequoia or you just didn't think of upgrading. Sonoma and Sequoia are pretty similar. Ventura in the iPhone is in the Photos app is already a little bit different. Josie, so whenever, Josie, I haven't seen you yet, nor I've heard you speak, but I see you answering, so I know you're there. All right. You're updating tonight to Tahoe. I thought I'd seen somewhere. Colette, why would you update tonight to Tahoe, Colette? You're ready. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I would hold off a little bit more, but if you're, I mean, I updated to Tahoe on the one because it's a new computer and I had nothing on it yet. And so I figured it can't ruin anything. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. But I did it 2 nights ago and I haven't had a chance to play with it yet. So I can't recommend yes or no right now on that one.
I might wait and do some research and, wait to see what you say. And
well, we'll see. All right. So, cool. So that's that. So when I share my apps, both on the computer, on the iPad, and on the phone, there's going to be slight dissimilarities, things that are not the same for all of us. And I ask you for patience. 99.9% of the app works exactly the same, but there's just a different place where certain things are. So if I show it to you here and you don't have it, it's very simple. Share your screen and I'll point to you where you'll have it on yours. There's very few new features. There's a couple of new features. But like, for example, in Ventura, you can't look for duplicates, but you can in Sonoma and things like that. So each time they add a new thing, there's a couple of new things. There's a thing called collections that didn't exist for people in Sequoia 5.6.1, and yet in 6.2 it exists and stuff like that. So if you don't see it, don't despair. It's nothing's wrong. We'll be talking about versions. All right, Barbara, your hand is up.
Yes, I was told one time that if I get a notice of an update and I go to my updates and there's another update that I didn't
Yeah.
update, that I should update those first.
Oh, stop for a minute. Meaning not stop for a minute. Yes, we've actually talked about that before. Normally you only get updates, and I always recommend updating to be done, except for now they've changed what used to be called an upgrade. They're now calling it an update. And going from Sequoia to Tahoe, that's what used to be called an upgrade. It still is on some parts of the computer called an upgrade, but on the app it says update. So people think it's the same to go from Sequoia to Tahoe as to update, and it's not. You're changing the system completely, and it's a new system, and it might work or it might not work. I always recommend upgrading to like a different name or a different number sequence. Like Tahoe is considered 20. By the way, I had mentioned that this was coming in the past. Every year it moved up from, 13, 14, 15. All these numbers are not related to our year. And then suddenly we jumped to 26. Tahoe is actually jumping. Sequoia is a 15. And now Tahoe's called 26. We've jumped, and now they're going to keep them with the names of the years. So it'll be a little.
They're calling it an upgrade on my computer, but I have.
So I wouldn't recommend upgrading to Tahoe yet. Basically, switching from 15 to 26. But if you have a 15.7 15.71, 15.72, that kind of upgrades, that is safe to do. So if you have underneath the request for Tahoe, you should see that it says update available for Sequoia. I recommend you do that one so that by Wednesday, all of our Photos apps are much more equivalent to each other. Okay.
Well, I have 15.6 and there's an update that's 16.7 and then under that it says one more. So I should update those before I upgrade to.
Yeah, don't upgrade to Tahoe.
Okay,
Do that.
that's all I wanted to know. So I'm not gonna.
Okay.
I like the way everything works right now.
Do the upgrades though, because
Yeah.
as we keep going with the class, that's how the phone is going to be working right now. And that's how what you want is for your phone and your computer to be relatively parallel, or your iPad to be relatively parallel to each other. And if I make everyone switch all the way to the upgrade, then everyone has to upgrade. And some people just can't, their computers can't handle it. But everyone can, if you're in Sequoia, which 90% of you guys are in Sequoia, you can update to the latest version of Sequoia. And that's where the shift happened. Okay. Now, if you are in Ventura and your computer isn't proposing Tahoe, or Sequoia, that means that's as far as you can go. If you're in Sonoma and you're not being proposed Sequoia or Tahoe, that's as far as your computer can go. You can't upgrade any longer. That's what you have, and that's fine. It'll work beautifully, and it'll just be a bit different than what I'm showing. And when you ask me where that feature is, I'll tell you, oh, you didn't have it in Ventura, or it's here, it's hiding in a different spot. You'll just need to remind me. Whenever you don't see something, the first thing I'm going to go, what version are you on? So keep an eye on these versions and know how to check so that you can tell me, oh, no, I'm still in Ventura. Oh, okay, then this is where you'll find it, or so on and so forth. Okay. So
I don't even want to
just write
update my
down this
phone.
thing that you wrote in the chat, just write down a little piece of note paper or something next to you so that whenever the question comes up, you'll know where it is. You know where you're at. Now, I'm going to show you exactly the same thing on your iPhone right now. Okay, so now the share that I'm going to do is of your iPhone, and I'm going to share my phone. Everyone grab your phones. And those of you who have an iPad, it's exactly the same thing. We're going to go to the operating system of, in this case, my phone. And here I am finding the settings in the front screen, but if you don't have your settings in the front screen and you don't know where to find them, you can go down to this search right there and click on search. And then you can, on the search, you can write the word settings. Okay, settings. And the moment you write SETT, there it is. The top hit will be settings, and you'll open your settings. And it's going to look pretty much the same as the settings that we just saw on the computer. And as you scroll down, there's going to be the word general. And you might already have something here saying that there's an update available, but we're going to click on the word general. And here's where we're going to go to software update to see if you have an update available, or about will tell you what you have. But let's go straight to update and see if you have an update available for you. And so in my phone, I'm being told that iOS 18.7.2 is available. Now this might not be able to update all the way. This phone, and my alarm for giving you guys a break is coming up. So give me a second while I finish this conversation, and then we'll take our break. So I might not be able to update to any higher on this phone. I don't know. Because it's an iPhone 10. The school phone that I'm teaching with is an iPhone 10. And it's not proposing up at the top a higher one. Versus my personal phone is a 15 Pro Max, and that one is prompting me to upgrade to 26.1. So it depends also on how old your device is, what upgrade is going to be available. Now, I have not upgraded to this one yet, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait till most of you guys have upgraded. Maybe I'll do it by Wednesday, but I'm going to see what you guys report. Because this phone is still showing me the Photos app the way it was up until a week ago on my computer. So that if I have to show you both, I'll be able to show it to you over here. But then I hope everyone else will update. And then by Wednesday, or maybe for sure by Monday, everyone will have updated, and we'll be able to have our phones looking the same way. Because again, there's a bit of a shift in how the app presents itself, especially on the phone. It's more visible than it was on the computer. I find on the computer there's just more space for everything, but on the phone things are hiding in different places. And this just happened I would say a week or two ago. It's a pretty new update, and so it's pretty new for everyone. And the other day I was looking for something and I was having to go find it everywhere. So I might have questions about where it is. If you ask me, I'll just check on my personal phone and I'll show you on, and then I will see it on my personal phone if yours has already been updated. Okay. So if you all found, I'm not asking you to update right now, but you found where to do this, what you can do is you can click on the word update tonight. And then after class is over and you're asleep and you plug your computer in, your phone in to charge, then it'll do the update at night when you're sleeping, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. Okay. I'm going to hold off, as I said, because I want to make sure that I still have one of my devices on an older version to support people who are on an older version. But by next Monday, I will have it up and running in the new version, so everyone can follow on. Okay. So now I'm going to stop my share, and the same thing with my app. By the way, my iPad is, I think, is on the same version. Let me see. My iPad might even be a little bit older because it's so old. But no, I think upgrade wise it was in the same place as my phone, but let me check. Anyway, I've got my iPad here on the side. No, and my iPad I'm at 16.712, and that's as far as I can go. I can't update any further on that one. So again, depending on your devices and how old your devices are, you will be able to do more or less things. All right. When we come back, we're going to be jumping into working with our photos in all of the instances and all of the versions that you have and all of the devices that you have. Okay. So that we're going to take a break. It's going to be a 15-minute break. What I'm going to always do in the chat, I'm going to say what 15 minutes, what time to be back. But I need help to figure it out. Usually it's 2:42. So what's 15 minutes? Oh, it's 2:43. We just changed it for 2:43. Can someone figure 15 minutes out for me? That would be 10 minutes would be
58.
3:58. Okay. So be back at 2:58 p.m. So make sure to put a timer on for 12 minutes so that you have 3 minutes to run back to the computer and be back on time. Okay. See you guys in 15. All right. I'm back. If you're back, give me either turn on your videos or give me a yes if you normally don't turn on your videos, but just that way I'll know you're there. Mm. Hmm. Barbara, are you there? Because you asked a question. The class started today. You said you missed Monday, but you didn't miss Monday. Monday was the last Mac level 2 class. So
Right. Well, I missed it. I've been fighting vertigo. I'm so dizzy. It's nothing's computing in my brain.
I've had vertigo a long time ago. Horrible. Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Oh, it comes and it goes.
Yeah. Ugh. Well, hopefully,
Hopefully, it won't last too long.
I hope so. I'll move my phone over to this side. All right. So I people who don't turn on their videos but who are here, let me know you're here. Like Georgia, are you here? Or Marta?
But your 5 o'clock class, is that also online?
5 o'clock is online, yeah. The
Okay, because I was looking in the brochure. I was trying to get things back.
that's online only.
Calendar.
That's why today I'm teaching from here. As of Monday, I was still at school teaching, but right now both
And it says room 3 in the brochure.
digital design techniques as room 3.
Yep.
They had
10:27 to 11:12.
made a mistake, yeah.
Oh, good. That's what I could have sworn I was sitting on my computer here.
No, it's yeah, it's here. It's online. Okay. All right. So let's go unless there's been any particular burning question with regards to anything I've just said that you have. And if not, let's go. Let's get going. All right. I'm closing all the samples that I did of demos. And here we go. First of all, we have to talk about the 90% of the conversation that we're going to have at first is going to be about the photos that you take with your phone. Later, we'll begin to incorporate all the other options. But when you take a photo with your phone, depending on how your settings are set up in your phone, they can just live in your phone and thus die with your phone. Meaning, if your phone dies, any photo you've taken that's just sitting in your phone is gonna die with your phone, right? Or if you have turned on a feature to make those phones go to your cloud, then those photos get transferred to the cloud as long as you're nearby a cell or a Wi-Fi connection. So then if you're not near a connection, like if I take a trip in the Sierras where I'm hiking and there's no connection and I took 25 photos and then my photo dies, well, those 25 photos were living in my phone. They didn't make it to the cloud. They will die with my phone as well. But as long as I get to a place where there's connection and my photos manage to save themselves to the cloud, then if my phone dies, everything will be in the cloud. So the first thing we need to check is whether your photos are or not connected to the cloud. And there's always a reason why that is not necessary. I'm not this class isn't about making your photos go to the cloud. It's about dealing with your photos if they go to the cloud, and if they don't, then how do you get them out of your phone so that they don't die with the phone? And how do you then transfer them to your computer or to wherever else you want to put them? So the first thing we're going to do is start with our phones. So I'm going to share my phone.
Where's my phone?
And we're going to go see what the phone settings are that need to be turned on. And then you will tell me in the chat if your photos are going to the cloud or not. And neither is yes or no a right answer. It's just a fact-finding mission. Because there's other ways to deal with them other than the cloud. The most easy and comfortable one is the cloud. But that's not the only way to do this. So, whoops, let me move that back. Out of the way of that. There we go. Sorry, I'm moving my Zoom stuff out of the way of something else that I have. And okay. All right. So it all starts in the settings. Yes, we're talking about photos, gorgeous, awesome photos. And we keep talking about settings. How boring, but that's so important. Let's head over to the settings app. Once again, if you're already in it, that's good. If you're not in it, you can go to the search feature. If you don't see the search feature, then put your finger in some point in your phone that doesn't have anything and just gently pull down. And just gently pull it down and the search feature pops up. And then write SET and the settings will pop up. All right. Now I was still, and the last time we came to the settings, we had been searching how much we need to update or not. But this is not where I want to go. So we're going to back out of this by going into this little back creature way up at the top. And I'm going to back out of the settings into out of the general into the main settings. And this is the same on the iPad as on the phone. The advantage of the iPad is that they're next to each other. They don't you have to back out all the time. You just go to the side column, same on your computer. And now we're on our main settings. And in the main settings, you are going to check up at the very top of the main settings window. You should see your name. Now remember, this is a school phone, so this is the name of the school phone, SBCC Business Services, but this is your iCloud account. So we're going to click on that, which is for most of you guys your name. And here you should see your name. And right underneath, you should see a web page, sorry, an email address. That email address is your iCloud account. So in case you haven't, and most of you have taken my Mac classes, you know about this. Anyone who's new or who wasn't in particular paying attention to this, you're going to write this down. This is your iCloud account. It used to be called Apple ID. It used to be called Apple account. It used to be called all these names. Right now it's called your Apple account. That name, that changed like 3 or 4 months ago. Suddenly I started calling it Apple account. It used to say Apple ID. So if you ever thought, oh, I know my Apple ID, what's the Apple account? It's the same exact thing. All right. And then we're going to head over to the iCloud. And notice that here my iCloud says 50 gigabytes. Yours will say whatever it'll say. We're going to check in on that right now. I'm going to click on iCloud. And here I am in my iCloud settings. Once you are here in your phone and parallel, you can do this on your iPad. Give me a yes. Those of you who are able to also do it on your computer, you can do it on your computer as well, but I don't want to confuse things right now. I just want to make sure that you're doing it on your phone. All right. So, I'm seeing yeses almost everywhere. Angelina, Rodney, and Kristen, you're good? Georgia? Okay, and I think Colette, you've already answered somewhere else, yes, right? Yeah, there you go. You've answered on the other one, yes, and Dimitri. Okay, good. All right, let me clear your answers. Now, first thing that you see up at the top is storage. And I have 33 of 50. What does that mean? I have used 33 gigabytes of my 50 gigabytes of storage already. So this little line that you see here is showing me that I have more than half of my space taken. Now, what's this space all about? Some of you guys might be seeing 5 gigabytes. That means that it's the 5 gigabytes that you get for free because you happen to be an iCloud, an Apple owner, and for free, you get that much space, 5 gigabytes. Now, if you need more space than that, you need to start paying. And if you're going to put your photos on the cloud, you definitely need more space than 5 free gigabytes. That only works for the basic backing up of your system, right? But once you start putting photos in the cloud for them not to say die with your phone, as I said before, then you need to pay for that. So let's go ahead and click on that thing that says storage. And you'll see that it's telling you what is used up. of that storage and by what. And it turns out that I had, this is new, by the way. It didn't used to show up that way. It used to show up with different colors. Now I'm seeing it all in one color. That's interesting. I preferred it when it showed it in different colors, but anyway, dark green, light green, and other tones of green isn't so obvious. Before it was separate colors for each thing. But I have backups, I have messages as text, I have other stuff, I have the drive, and I have photos. So the drive would be like document that, but this bright green is the photos that I'm using. And um over here, if I see that I am getting to the end, like if I were to say that it says 45 of 50 gigabytes used, or if you have 200 gigabytes, what if if what you have is 200 gigabytes and you're using 100 of your 200, then you're only halfway full. But if you're using 189 of your 200, you're in trouble, right? So depending on how full you are, based on what you have, because we all have a different amount that we're paying. So in order to have 50 gigabytes, I am paying $1 a month, 99 cents a month, in fact. So $12 a year gives me 50 gigabytes. If you have more than that, or you need more than that because you're getting towards the end and you want to keep taking photos, yeah, maybe you can delete some photos, but you'd have to delete thousands and thousands and thousands of photos to even make the slightest difference in this number. Mainly, if you have a lot of videos, you can delete a lot of long videos and then you'll begin to see a change. But for the most part, you'd have to delete so much and so many videos that I will teach you where, some of you took my Mac classes and you'll discover that you have tons of gigabytes in your messages because you have a ton of videos in your messages and stuff. That would be a good place to get rid of stuff and so on and so forth. But I'm not going to teach you how to get into the rest of your computer. Those are my Mac classes, the ones that just finished, and I showed you that. Right now, I'm going to show you how to deal with photos. If you need more space, you're going to have to change your storage plan. So we're going to head down here to where it says change storage plan. And it turns out that I could pay more. I am paying right now 99 cents per month. Okay. And if I'm getting towards the end and I want more, I'm going to have to manage iCloud storage. And this is where it's going to give us, change storage plan. Why is it not? Okay, see all plans. I would have to go up here to see all plans. And it turns out that I could be paying $2.99 per month to get 200 gigabytes or $9.99 per month to get 2 terabytes. Now for eons, this is all you could do. And as of last year, they've added these two tiers, $29.99 per month for 6 terabytes or $60 for 12 terabytes. Now, you would not need any of these unless you're a company, you're a business, and you're a business who does a ton of social media and you're doing a ton of videos, stuff like that, where like I'm talking like daily new videos for social media and stuff like that. Or you have a ton of users using your same plan. Other than that, you wouldn't need those. But this one here might be somebody needs already. The first example of using this was from Yolanda, in fact, who some years ago told me that I believe her son is paying for $9.99 per month, and she has like 6 or 7 family members are all sharing that space because yes, you can share this space. So I personally started doing that last year with my family. I'm paying $9.99 per month, and 5 members of my family are using it, and we still have a lot of space in there. So I'm saying that's a lot of space, okay? So most people are basically getting away with just the $2.99 per month. So that's like $3. That's like $34 a year, $36 a year, something like that. So if that works for you, that should take care of most of you guys. You don't, with 50 gigabytes, which is what I have here, that's not much space. I'm using this phone just to demo, so that's enough for me, but most people who are taking enough photos and videos and stuff like that might soon need to move up to 200 gigabytes. All right, give me an answer on the chat. I don't know, need to know how much you're paying, but are you okay? Like, I'm gonna back off here. I'm gonna close on this available plan. And how are you doing over here? What percentage? Like, you're okay? Just say okay. If you're saying getting close or getting near, might need to upgrade soon. Just want to make sure that you got it, that you checked, and that you're aware. of where you're at. So I'm going to clean your answers and give me a yes if you're okay. Give me a no if you're not okay and you're going to need to update. Again, depending on where you're at, maybe you're on the free plan and you see that you need to start paying $1 a month, or maybe you need to see that you need to pay $2.99 a month, maybe you need to pay $9.99 a month. Right now, just did you check the storage? Are you aware of what's happening and how much space you have? Okay. All right. So there you go. So Kristen, that means you probably need to upgrade, right? If you're saying no. Barbara, what's your question?
Well, when I look at the breakdown in my iCloud storage, over half of it, it says docs, but I don't put docs in it, but I have 500 plus megabytes of messages, and I'm not sure, only 2.2 of
Where
pages.
she is reading right now is that if you back out, you can see over here what's of your apps is taking up a lot of space. So I'm not going to spend much time with this in this class. You're welcome to, again, ask me in 3 classes. You can from now you can ask me extra stuff. But right now, by pointing you to here, yeah, you'll discover, oh, my iCloud data is taking up 20 gigabytes. Wow, what's that from? And in your case, it might be from your docs, it might be from whatever. A lot of people discover that in their texts, they have a huge amount of gigabytes. And we are gonna talk about that because that is part in a way of how do we share photos out of our plan. And that's why I'm specifically pointing to that one, or to email. You're the kind of person who constantly sends, there was a student once, and I give her example all the time, because she said her computer was chock full, and I'm not saying her phone, but her computer, but it's the exact same issue. It was happening, she had a newer phone, but an older, smaller computer. And she and her friends would take little videos of their pets and send each other cute videos of their pets. And when we went into her messages, she had tons of videos that she had photographed, the video of her pets and sending them, and tons that her friends had sent her. And she wasn't aware that all of that gets stored there, years of that. And her computer, in this case, was chock full. All she did was delete all the messages from her computer, and suddenly she didn't have to buy a new. She had gone to the Apple store and they told her she needed to buy a new computer. And I'm like, no, 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 you just need to get rid of all those videos that are sitting there. You know how texts are that once you've seen them, they're gone and they scroll up and you stop seeing them anymore? All of that stays on your computer and on your phone. Not only that, and this is where it comes to today's class, if you took that video yourself and you already have it in your phone app, in your Photos app, I'm sorry, then when you text it to someone, now you have it in your phone twice or in your computer twice, depending on which device you used, or in your iPad. And then if you send that same video at the same time, you text that one video to 5 people, then it's one time in your text and 5 people got it. But if you send the same video 5 different times to 5 different people, now you have that photo once in your Photos app and 5 times in your text. So now you have 6 worth of that video that happened to be a pretty long, 2-minute video. And now your computer and your phone are becoming chock full of stuff just from what you're sending and from what you're receiving. Does that make sense? So I highly recommend that if you do have a big number in your messages, you click on that and you can go into this place where it says turn on top conversations. And when you've gone in there, this here is going to show you texts and you'll see which ones have a lot of videos, and I'm going to show you on the phone, on the computer, you can actually select those photos, and I'm going to show you where on the phone, on the computer, you can select those and start deleting the photos that go in that. That said, this is a great time to tell you that when you send and receive stuff on texts, after you've seen them, either you download them in your computer because you want them, and great, that's what you do, or you delete them. Don't just keep them hanging out there. Okay.
Well,
same with your mail.
If I disable and delete,
what?
If I
No, don't disable. You want to use your phone.
No. If I click on iCloud under that manage storage, and it goes over And
I'm not recommending to turn off the feature.
well, no, not turn off the feature, but it goes over and it itemizes what is in the iCloud. And if I click on the messages, I can disable and delete the messages because I don't need the messages.
No. Trust me. You don't want to turn off your messages. You want to be able to text. So listen, this isn't about
Oh,
not.
that's not turning it off in the iCloud and deleting it? That's
Yeah,
on your
no,
phone?
you can go and delete them. You can go in here to messages. You can go into your conversations. You can select, edit, and delete your texts if you don't want them anymore, if that's what you want to do. So these are different conversations. You can delete your texts, but don't turn off and delete from iCloud or you won't be able to send and receive texts anymore.
Okay.
That's
But
not,
when I click on that top conversations, it goes to a new page that's blank.
you don't have anything in there?
That it doesn't show anything in there.
Well, you said that you have an iPhone 7.
Yeah.
So maybe on an iPhone 7, the system was a bit different. We can explore that a little bit later, but
But it has top conversations at the top of it.
all right. Well, I don't know what to say because this is where you would see those conversations that take up the most space. So this one here is taking up the most, like at the top, they put the one, see how it's by alphabet. I know this number looks bigger than that, but megabytes and kilobytes are very different.
Oh, yeah,
And,
that
it takes 1,000 of
kilobytes
those
to make a
kilobytes
megabyte.
to make 1 byte, and it takes 1,000 here kilobytes to make 1 megabyte. So really this is biggest to smallest. So if I delete 250 of these, it'll be the same as less than deleting just one of those, right? So you go to the top ones where you have, and so this woman went and discovered she had megabytes with some people of just videos, right? So she just deleted that. Or from your computer, you can actually delete individual videos, but not from here. Anyway, I'm going to show you that on the computer later. So let's back out of that now. Let's back out of the iCloud.
What is card hop conversations?
What is what?
Card hop conversations.
Where are you seeing that?
Okay.
Are you in the
iCloud and then you know there's under that there's iCloud Drive, photos, messages, backups, HP, all this stuff.
Okay, so if what you're probably seeing the apps, let me just show you. Everyone back up all the way until you get to see your name here again. If you backed up one too many, then you'll be over here where you get to choose iCloud again. If you backed up one too many even more, then you'll be up here, which is the general settings. Then you need to click on your name again. So you want to go back into the iCloud account. So click on your face, but and into the iCloud account. So click on iCloud, and we want to be in this window right now. Now, this window might look different for you. Up here, it needs to say storage, but then you might or not have already said yes to that. You might or not have things recommended for you. This part will be different, but you'll see the word storage. And then after maybe nothing or maybe a few things like me, then you'll have the saved to iCloud. So let's go to the saved to iCloud where it says photos, because that's the next place we're going to go. And remember, in my Mac classes, I teach much more of this stuff. Sometimes
Yeah, mine doesn't. It's
but
that
this
way.
is the photos class, so I'm going to focus on the settings, just the photos answers right now. So if you found the photos, click on photos right there. And then you stop right there and give me a yes if you found and you are in the same spot that I am, which is in the iCloud photos. Now, for some of you guys, that was turned off because you were not using the iCloud photos. If so, I'm not advocating that you should turn it on because the moment you turn it on, if you weren't paying anything, you're going to have to start paying. Okay. So this is a decision that you need to make. Now, what I do recommend is do not turn it off willy-nilly, because if you turn it off willy-nilly, then your photos will be by default only in the cloud and will disconnect from your phone. So for now, leave it wherever it is and let me know. In fact, I'm going to clear your answers. I want you to get here and I want you to tell me yes if yours says sync this iPhone, and tell me no if this is a small window and it's just grayed off and it's not syncing.
I don't even find that.
Okay. So I'm going to show you again how to get here. I'm going to back out And this is just the general storage, the first place we saw storage, not when we went, you and I had gone into storage in here. You need to back out of that. So if it says manage storage, just
I
back out.
don't have that either.
Okay, to read to me where you are. Just read to me something.
Okay, you,
What does it say at the very top? Your name?
I'm gonna click on. I'm gonna click on settings first.
Okay, settings first. And
Okay.
then at the top, go to
It
your,
has Barbara Walsh, and then, okay, underneath it, it looks the airplane and Bluetooth and all that.
okay,
And
so then
underneath
click on
Barbara Walsh, it says Apple ID,
so Apple ID, that's where you,
iCloud, media and purchases.
there, click that. And then once you
I
click,
didn't see where you clicked. Did you click up on?
where
the
it said
top?
Apple ID, Apple ID. See, your phone is old, so it says Apple ID. For me, it says iCloud account, but it's the same thing. Click on that.
Okay,
Now in here, you should see a place that says iCloud.
yeah,
Okay, click on iCloud, and that's where we are. That's exactly where we are. Now,
okay,
in the past,
but I don't have,
in the past, this looked different. So for you, it might look different. You would see somewhere the word photos. It won't look the same as this, but look for the word photos. What we all see who have a newer updated, it says save to iCloud, see all. And if you see all, you'll see all your apps that go into the cloud. The only one I want us to go is photos right now. And I want to see everything else. So I'm just going to click on photos. You might have it, Barbara, in a where you have like check marks instead, which is the old way, but you would still see the word photos. So then you can click on the word photos.
well, photos, and it goes across to on. And then if I click that, it
Yeah.
says iCloud Photos is on, optimize iPhotos.
Yeah, so you're in the same spot that we are now. Stop. That's where you should be. It might look a bit different than mine, but it's in the right
Okay.
spot. You're in the optimized photo. So it just looks a little bit different, but it's the same window. Okay. So guys, when you're in this place, if you have it on, give me a yes. If you don't have it on, give me a no. So let me see, Angelina. I don't see your answer. Bless. I don't see your answer. Everyone else is saying yes. And this is important because it really does matter to know whether your stuff is going to the cloud or not for me and how to teach you. There's usually one or two people who don't have their photos going to the cloud, and thus I need to point that out and teach that. But I know, Yolanda, your stuff is going to the cloud, even though you're not answering. And Alan, I think we had talked with you last time in your Mac class and your stuff was going to the cloud. But since you haven't been able to talk to me, I can't hear you. I'm not sure what's happening there. And Angelina, you're saying yes. And Colette already said yes. Okay, so basically everyone is saying yes, which is a surprise, a good surprise. But there's some people who aren't here today, so we might still find next class that some people, when they show up, there's still someone who doesn't. Now, the reason I'm saying it's a nice surprise because I can teach one way and not 10 ways to do things. But either way, it's a choice. Okay. So here we go. Now it's telling me in particular that I have these many photos and that many videos. Remember that these many videos can weigh as much as maybe 10,000 photos. So just because it says 85 versus 1400, it might be that if a lot has to come out of here to make space for my phone for any reason, it would be videos that I would have to tackle first versus photos. I know it seems weird, but one, you know, a few seconds video can take up the space of hundreds and hundreds of photos. So when we get into the formats and stuff, I'll show you that a little bit better. But the place that I want to get us to is this place where it says optimize iPhone storage or download and keep originals. Does everyone see something like that? Let me clear your answers because again, depending on what operating system you have, you might see or not that. But I would highly recommend always have an optimized iPhone storage turned on, especially if you have an older phone or a small phone. Like, you know how older phones came with a smaller little storage space in the phone. Now you can buy phones with a lot more storage space, but you have to pay for it. Most people just buy the basic phone at whatever price level. They don't buy the one with a lot more storage. So you might find that you have a newer phone, but that doesn't have much storage. So this is about if your phone is low on space, then the full resolution photos and videos, I'm going to explain a bit more what that is in a minute. then they are replaced, and this freaks people out. I'll tell you what that means, with smaller device-sized versions. And full resolution versions can be downloaded from the cloud. So basically what this means is that your phone is sending the full-size version to the cloud. Many of you have taken my iCloud classes. If you haven't taken it, or if you have any questions about it, actually, Carla isn't here. She had to leave. But so Demetria, you seem to be fine with computers, but that doesn't mean that you're clear on the cloud. If you have any questions about that, let me know. But basically, the cloud keeps all the high resolution, full version of the photo and video that you took. And then on the phone, you just have a version that's perfect for posting to social media, sending to friends and saying, hey, look at the beautiful sunset I just photographed. It's basically useful for anything on screen. The only thing it might not be useful for is if you want to print a 16 by 20 photo and put it up on your mantelpiece. Then you might need the full size version, which isn't like lost. It's just that you need to go to the cloud to download it. I'll show you how to do that. So 99% of the times, this is the right thing to do. The only people who don't have this is if you're not syncing to the cloud, in which case your phone has all the original files and everything. And if you lose your phone, you lose everything. If you're sending stuff to the cloud, you could also choose to keep the originals in your phone, but then your phone is going to fill up pretty soon and you're very soon going to start getting the whole like, oh, quote is full message. So unless you have any real valid reason for why you want to do it this way, I would recommend always having the iPhone optimized iPhone storage turned on. And then when you need a really big photo print, then you go and download it from the internet. We're going to head to the internet a little bit later and we're going to see where we find that. Okay, and then we have possibilities of sharing our library or having shared albums. We're going to show you about how that works, but the other side has to have an iPhone as well. The other side meaning whoever you share this library with. You can put albums, and we're going to talk about an album is in particular, and share it with people, or you can share the entire library with some people. So every time your husband takes a picture, it pops in your library. Every time you take a picture, it pops into his library. So you literally have every single photo shared, or you can have a few albums that you share with people, specific people that are part of your, whatever group. Say you're a dog lover, like this group of friends that she had. Instead of sending photos back and forth, they could just have a shared album where they all put their photos in there and they see them without like storing and sending those back and forth on the mail. That's one example of many. Or people who work together and need to have certain photos and they have to share them and that kind of stuff. So if you keep these features turned on, then that's a good one. You wouldn't set up a shared library unless you're willing to share your entire library with someone else, such that when they can delete your photos or add to your photos, you can delete theirs. And every time they take their photo, it's in yours, like they're all mixed up. Okay. I have not set that up ever with anyone. But some people have an issue in that only one of their couple is using the iCloud and the other person has a phone and they're not actually have their own iCloud account and stuff. And so maybe this is a way for them to have a shared photo library. So if that's your situation, we can talk about that. Yes, Marta.
Does a shared album, like let's say my nephew went on vacation, he shared an album with myself.
Mhm.
Does that take any of my storage?
No, meaning it's if as long as it stays in the cloud, it does take storage, but not really because they're really stored in his cloud unless you start adding to it as well. You can see it, but it's not coming into your phone. You're just viewing it. It's just a JPEG. It's a preview that you're seeing, okay?
Perfect, thank you.
But yeah. Okay. So now we're done with that. All of you said yes. You don't seem to have any questions about these things because no one's speaking up. Remember, you're all welcome to ask. So let's leave. I'm going to stop and then I'm going to head over to the school, to the computer now. those same settings on the Mac, on an iPad would have been the same. Now I'm going to take you to the same exact settings, but on the computer. Okay. So we're going to go and open our system settings on our computer. And if you don't know how to, let me know. But for the most part, most of you have, I'm addressing the group because in one way or another, I know that most of you have taken all my iMac classes, not iMac, my Mac classes. So for the most part, most of you know how to find your settings. But if you've taken it a while ago and you don't know how to find them or something, let me know. Yes, Georgia? Georgia? You're muted, so if you're talking,
Sorry. I don't share albums with anybody. Is there any reason to keep the shared albums thing turned on?
if you keep it turned on, if someone wants to share with you, they can. If you have it turned off, they won't be able to. But if you
Oh,
think you'll never want to share an album, then don't. I'm going to teach you how to and show you how to do it, and then you can choose whether to do it or not.
okay.
It's part of what I'll show you. And as usual, the good news about settings is that you can choose whether to have features on and off. But in this class, you'll learn about them and then you'll decide if you want them on and off, right? You don't have to have them on. But then when someone does want to share with you, if you would like that, you won't be able to see them. So then you'd have to go into your settings and turn it on. Versus if you have it on and you don't use it, you just don't use it and it doesn't make any difference, right? But if you're absolutely adamant that you don't want them for any particular reason, then just leave it off. Otherwise, if you turn it on, you can use it or not when the time comes. Barbara?
Yes. I had cox.net for my email address when I opened an iCloud account. And so
Yeah.
that's my name, for
It doesn't matter.
iCloud.
You won't be able to change that. It doesn't matter. It's not connected to your phone.
Well, I don't know my password for it anymore, and they want to email my cox.net account.
Yeah. So what you need to, that's the only problem, that if you left it as your only email, you need to go into you need to call Apple. In the Mac class, I sent you a whole, if you go to the Mac, you were in my Mac classes. If you go into the handouts for the Mac class, there's a whole handout of how to recover your password.
Thank you.
So
I'll go find it.
and then talk to Apple about recovering your password because
Thanks.
and then everyone has to keep upgrading. If you ever stop using an email, you have to keep upgrading the security emails that people send you security questions to. Okay. So here we are in the school set in the system, the computer. Now we're on the computer, guys. Okay. Just to be clear, we've switched to the computer. And when we open the settings, I had left you in general. Storage software update is where we had gone earlier. If you came with me there, otherwise, wherever you're at, we're going to go to the basic home, which is here on the side panel. And this is where the iPad and the computer are more similar than the phone because iPad has space for a side panel. So open at the very top of the side panel is your name. Again, my name is SBC Business Services, but that's your name, Apple account, and now iCloud. So this is identical as to what we had seen before on the phone. We click on the phone and sorry, on the iCloud, and here we are on the settings where again, same information that my phone had. How much space do I have in my cloud? It's the same cloud shared by my phone and my computer. So the answer should be identical as before. And here it is what I have saved to the cloud. And this is crucial, some of you have turned on the system to go from your phone to the cloud, but you might have this turned off and you might not be syncing photos to your computer. So make sure that you're also syncing them to, this doesn't cost you anymore. What this does is that the photos that you take, they've gone to the cloud and then they get pushed also down to your computer. So when you take a photo on your phone, you should be able to see it on your computer. And vice versa, if you put a photo in your computer that you took with some other device, then you can see that photo on your phone.
So is what you're showing us now the computer?
This is the Mac computer settings.
Okay.
And if you don't remember how to find them, you can either go up to the Apple and open settings from there.
I remember how to find them. I just wasn't sure which ones we.
Screen again. There we go. You can either go to the Apple and find the system settings there, and this is in case someone else didn't feel like asking, or if it's in your dock, it might be there, or you can go to your spotlight right there and then just write settings. And again, the choice for system setting comes up. And then here we go, the system settings pop in. We go to the cloud by going to the Apple account and then clicking on iCloud.
General.
Here's where we're going to check.
Oh,
And I am
so
syncing.
this is under, this is
iCloud.
directly under in general, or is it separate?
Leave general, you go up to your name.
Okay.
You click on your name.
Click on your name. And then here we're going to click on iCloud.
Okay. All right.
I got it.
Okay. When you click on your iCloud, here we are. And my photos would be right there. And when I click on photos, there I have the answer whether I'm syncing this or not.
Share them on
If you are, life is good. If you're not, turn that on, but only turn it on as long as you have turned it on your phone. If you're one of the people who on your phone isn't sending it to the cloud, then you don't need to bother sending this photo to the cloud either. Okay? Give me a yes when you have checked on this and made sure that it's on. When I teach all the Mac classes, we talk about all these other apps and features and stuff. Right now, I'm just concentrating on photos. But many times in class, there's someone who does or doesn't do this, and then I show all the variables and other options. But as long as all of you guys are doing this, then it's the simplest ever. Take a picture on your phone, it goes to the cloud, and then it appears on your computer. And this is the part that people don't know, that if you also put a photo on your computer that you received from somewhere else, like it got emailed to you, for example, or it got texted to you, and you put it on your computer on your Photos app, but guess what? Then it'll appear on your phone because it's basically one big library that you happen to see in two places. So imagine like people who have TVs in 3 rooms in their house. You get one program sent to your house and you're seeing it in 3 devices and 3 different TVs. So the cloud is the place that holds all your photos, and you happen to be looking at it through your iPad, through your phone, or through your computer, or through your Apple Watch. So you are seeing these things in different places, but it's one place that is holding all of it. Does that make sense, you guys? Because the rest of the things that are here might originate in different places, then most of the time it makes a difference. But we don't take photos with our computer. So the photos don't originate from our computer unless they have come into my computer, say through a text or through an email, or if I've downloaded it from the internet. That's or if, for those of you who have a DSLR, which I believe 2 of you guys said you're doing that, 3 of you guys answered that, and then you might also be putting your smart little the memory card into your computer, downloading photos onto your computer, and if you put them straight into your Photos app, then there they are, and then they will be sent to the cloud, and thus they will be shared with your phone. If that's your choice, you can also do different things, but that would be the reciprocity of how you would get things from your smartphone into your Photos app directly through your computer. And then they end up on your phone or on your iPad, even though they came in through a memory card that you put in a slot of your computer.
Is the slider when it's to the right on and when it's to the left off?
Yeah, it'll be blue. Oh, no, it's okay. You have a new computer. That's fine. On your phone, it's different. It's a check mark if it's an old phone, but or if you have an old computer, if you have Monterey, for example. But if you have Sequoia or Sonoma, any of those, it's a slider, and the white button to the right with the blue color is right. If it's turned off, it would be gray, and this little circle would be on the left side.
Well, I have a whole list. It just goes down.
Yeah. So if you go to see all, you'll see everything that is
Yeah.
turned on and stuff like that.
So I should probably turn some of these off.
No, I'm not even going to go there. I don't recommend
Reminders.
that based on this class, because I'm not going to talk about it in this class.
Okay.
If anything comes up,
I'll go read my papers.
Join us in the Mac class next session and then ask me those questions there. All right. So now that we've checked and everyone here at least seems to have their cloud set up and running, the only one of you guys seemed to say that you didn't have enough space. You might need to add more space. Now what we can do is we can close this computer, this settings. Those of you who have an iPad, check your iPad for the same reason. And for example, I have a very old iPad with zero space in it, zero space in it. So on my iPad, I couldn't have any photos. The moment I turn on that flood to have the photos flow into my iPad, my iPad freaks out. So I don't have that turned on in my iPad, for example, because I don't take photos there anyway, and I don't need to see my photos from my iPad. So in order to be able to keep using the iPad for when I use it for teaching for other stuff, the only thing I can't teach on it is the Photos app per se, even though I put some photos in there as samples, but they're not connected to my other photos because I cannot, if I turn it on, then it doesn't, even with optimized turned on, it's just, I don't know how old this iPad is, and it just has zero space in it. So it just, the photos show up, but it just freezes the whole thing. So I just have in my iPad, I have that feature turned off. And as long as I'm aware that I won't be able to see those photos merge with all the other photos and stuff like that, then that's good. All right, so we're going to start with the computer. Computer first. We're going to open the Photos app on the computer. So I happen to have it here on the dock, but if you don't have it on your dock and you have it on your you don't know where you have it, then you can either go to the magnifying glass that's on the top here of the screen, click on that and write the word photos. And it's just Photos app. Okay, that's exactly the one and only, and hit your return key. It would open, or you can go into your Finder window and you can go to your applications and then scroll up and down until your Photos app right there, alphabetical order. Or you still have a Launchpad, which by the way is going to disappear in Tahoe. The Launchpad, for those of you who like the Launchpad, doesn't exist in Tahoe, and you find the photos there, but they have a different version of it through the Spotlight ends up being taken care of it. So that's another way to open it. For all of those of you who didn't find it easily on your dock, once you open the Photos app, then I'm going to recommend that you go to the little app, which the icon will appear, and that you do a right click and say keep in dock. That way your icon, your thing will be in the dock. And here we are. We have the Photos app has just opened up. And once your Photos app on your computer is up and running, give me a yes. And we're going to first turn some things on
I
and
never go in there.
that I believe are essential to using this correctly. And then we're going to continue. Now, for many people, the Photos app appears just like this, which is how it appears on the iPad to start with. It's if you have a small window, it doesn't show you a sidebar. See, it's just photos. And if that's how you're seeing it, then you need to make your window a little bit wider, and then the sidebar appears. If you're in an iPad, you can't pull it any bigger. Then there's a little icon here that lets you turn on or off. And I don't have that icon here, but it allows you to turn on or off that sidebar. And you definitely want to turn that sidebar on. So for computers who don't have it, just make your window wider, and then you'll have that sidebar on the side. We need that sidebar. Give me a yes if you can see this sidebar. It
Yeah,
might not say the same things that mine say. We're going to talk about that. But if you see the sidebar, give me a yes. And yeah, who was asking something? Owen?
Yeah, I got a notice that said this library was last found on a drive named Photos. So I apparently moved it to a drive years ago. And then it gives me the option of creating a new one. Is there any downside to doing that?
What we're going to have to discover is whether this is your system's photos library. You can have 99% of everyone is going to have one photos library. And let me back up a little bit to explain what's happening to you, and then we're going to go on a little fact-finding thing. Most of you guys will have one photos library. What does this mean? If you go to your computers and open this whole thing, you're opening one file. And that file is called your photos library, and it lives in the pictures folder. And I'm not going to get into that right now. It's one photos library that holds 16,000 to 2,000,000, 10,000, 5,000 pictures, however many pictures you have. Now, the time when it starts getting humongous, and in the past, computers couldn't handle such big ones, you might have created another library, and now you have some photos in one library, some photos in another library. It's not ideal. It's not the best, but if that's how you have it, then only one of those libraries can be what's called the system library. And why does that matter? Because the system library is the only one that connects to the cloud. So you might have 2 or 3 libraries out there, but they're not receiving that photo that you just photographed. So the only one that receiving a photo that you photographed is your systems library. So how do you know if this is your systems library? Let's go up to photos, settings.
Um, I have two.
Hold on, Barbara, let me answer
Okay.
Owen's question right now. So if you manage to open something, you need to decide whether is this the one that's getting the photos that I'm taking on my phone, right? On my computer. Is this the library that's right? So up at the top by the apple, you should see the word photos. Now, if you've clicked on the desktop or something, you won't see the word photos there. And the Photos app is going to be kind of grayed out. So select it again, click somewhere on the Photos app. And once you have it selected, then you'll see the word photos by the apple. Then you'll say photos, settings, and then you'll go to the general. And in the general, you're going to have to see whether this is like mine, which says use a system photo library is grayed out. Then this is your system photo library. If it's live, like it could be changed, then that means that it's not your system photos library and it's requesting that you change it. So don't touch anything yet. If necessary, you're going to share your screen, but I just want everyone to get here first and don't make any, if I can teach you one thing right now is to don't make any changes, you guys. Don't click around here yet. Anything you click around here could be dangerous. Don't look at this and go, oh, I was playing around with stuff. You don't want to mess with your photos. So please don't change things right now. Especially don't change the button of use as system photos library. This is only for the few people here who might happen to have more than one photos library and need to make a choice. So
Yeah.
hang in there. Can you share your screen, Owen, so I can help you find out what's happening?
I'm gonna need you to.
Yeah, just don't change anything, you guys. That's my main request right now. Okay, so you don't seem to have a single library here, so close that. And now go into your, go open a Finder window. Down here, you can open a Finder. Down here, Finder window. Go into this little icon, yeah. And let's click on the word pictures. Which if you take my Mac classes, I have told people not to have this icon there because it's so easy to lose important things. And yes, you do not have a file here called Photos Library. So you do not have a Photos Library in your computer. Do you have external hard drives where you might have changed your Photos Library somewhere?
Yeah, I think when we were doing Photoshop and other classes years ago, I did move it onto an external drive.
Is that external drive connected?
Not right now, and I don't really want to connect it because I've got like thousands and thousands of photos that I don't want syncing onto the cloud at this point because it would put me over the my current limit.
Okay, so right now your photos are living in your phone and nowhere else. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I have the phone is connected to the cloud, so I have the photos on my phone in the cloud. This computer
Okay.
is not connected to the cloud.
Okay. So then if you're, let me just explain to everyone something he just said. You don't have to have your photos connected to your computer as long as they're in the cloud. So everyone, what he's talking about is the fact that the cloud is a place you can access to see the photos. And I was going to take you there a little bit later, but maybe we should take you there now. Let's do this. Oh, go to your browser. Here, I see a browser right next to you. Everyone open your browser window, and we're going to go see that cloud place that I've been talking about. So click in there and write iCloud.com. Everyone open a browser and write iCloud.com and hit return. So this is for everyone. We were going to do it a little bit later. We're doing it now. When you get to iCloud.com, you have to sign in, and it's going to ask you to sign in using your Apple ID, your Apple account. By the way, can you open your system settings too so we can see and hear how that is set up for a second? Okay.
Yeah, you see, this one's not connected to the cloud. I've never, uh,
Okay. So if you don't have your entire computer connected to the cloud, then anything you do in the mail and any of these apps is living in this computer. And again, if your computer dies, it dies with the computer unless you have a time machine set up. Anyway, that's one choice that you have to make. But if you don't have your computer connected to the cloud, then, but it does say that there's an account. Are you missing the password? Is that why? Or because your name is in it, it doesn't say nothing. Can you click on this for a second again, your name? So it's not that it's not connected, it's just that you had it connected, but it's asking you to give it a new password
yeah,
and you're not giving it.
yeah, again, it was so long ago that I'm not 100% sure why, but I never did when we got this computer, I never did connect it to the cloud.
You did. You did, or this would say sign in and it would be empty. Okay. So you did connect it, but then at some point when it asked you to update your settings, like basically it's asking you to put in the password, you didn't put it in. And after a while, it figures, okay, if you don't know your password, something's wrong. So it stopped connecting. But it's not that you never connected it because otherwise this wouldn't say your name and it would just say sign in and it would be empty. So you did connect at some point, you just never updated your password or never put in your password in there. Just letting you know, it still effectively functions as if it's not connected, but you did set up your account in here. Anyway, let's head over here to sign in the iCloud. So you would have to put in, yeah, click on sign in. Go ahead and sign in. Do you know the password? Do you know the password to your Apple account?
Yeah, I've got it somewhere. But again, I don't necessarily want this computer connected. Is it going to connect now or can I?
Oh, I'm not having you sign in here. I went to the iCloud. We're seeing it in the cloud. I'm not for it to connect, you would have to put your password in here in the system settings. I'm not having you do that. I'm having you go to a browser. So guys, if you are in Bangladesh and you go to a hotel and use their computer and go iCloud.com, they ask you what your account is and they ask you to put in your iCloud password and you can open up and you can see your stuff that's in the cloud. If you are anywhere, so on your, I go to my mom's, and if I want a file that's in my computer, I'm from Argentina. My mom's in Argentina. If I go visit,
No, that's not what I want.
be able to go in and see my stuff, I just go to a browser on her PC computer, and there it is, and that's where I see her stuff, which is what he's doing right now. Okay, so go ahead and say.
share the cloud with me, and I have more photos than you. And I
Okay.
have mine connected.
Hold on, guys. Someone's talking in the background.
Yeah, that was Becky trying to remind me what we did or didn't do, but
That's fine. All right. All right. So here we go. You have, it seems 1,777 photos. Go ahead and go into your photos library, and we're gonna find out since when you're not.
well, again, these are all
Okay, go ahead and say okay.
I got a new iPhone last year, and so
Okay. So yeah, it is updated. Okay.
yeah, those are
So
the iPhone is connected to the cloud, and those are updating.
right, but stop for a minute because some people don't know that they can go see their photos on the cloud. So give me a sec since I'm doing this for the class, not just for you. Can everyone give me a yes if you've all been able to access your photos on the cloud the way he did? Give me a yes. And if not, and if you're lost, then tell me no, or I need help, raise your hands. So what we're doing, even though it looks like it's his computer, this is not his computer. This is a browser. As I said, you could be in Bangladesh and you go to a browser on a friend's computer or wherever, and you go to iCloud.com. As long as you know your password and your account and your password, you have accessed the cloud. And anything that's allowed to go to the cloud is in here. Now, in his case, can you back up one time to this arrow back here? And again, I'm not about to teach everything about the cloud. Yeah, one click. If you go down here, you see that you could have, keep going a bit further down, you can have a whole bunch of stuff in here that connects between your computer and your phone, right? So if you have contacts in the phone and focus on your computer and on the phone and on your iPad, they'd all be the same. If you have a calendar, they'd all be the same. But in his case, he has his computer cut off from the cloud. So if he uses his phone for someone's phone number, right, to update because he met them and he says, "Oh, I have a new phone number," the phone will have the new stuff and the cloud will have the new stuff because his phone is connected to the cloud. So if his phone dies, it's okay. The stuff that was on his photos in the cloud. Does that make sense? As long as you have all your other features turned on, I don't know. But anything he writes in his computer is not on the cloud. Okay? So that's all that means. So his computer doesn't have the photos that are on the cloud, but his cloud does have the photos that are on his phone. Does that make sense? So it's a choice, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just explaining the choice, okay? So he will not lose his photos if his phone dies. But if his computer dies, any photos or things that he have here won't be in the cloud. So hopefully you're doing a time machine. That's a different conversation so that you don't lose anything that's here. So right now, unless you want to set up a new photos library for your computer separate, but it won't have any photos or photos in it, then whenever all the stuff that I'm teaching, I won't be able to, you won't be able to do the computer part of it because your photos app on your computer doesn't have photos. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess that was my question. Should I try to take out the hard drive and move it back, or should I just create a new? It looked like it was giving me the option of creating a new photos folder on
Yeah,
the
but
computer.
it won't have photos, right? Because the photos aren't going to be coming in from your phone because you have it disconnected. So if you connect that hard drive and use that photos library, then you can play around and organize and find and do everything with all the photos that are in that hard drive, which are old, but they won't be connecting to the cloud, so they won't be in your phone, and the stuff in your phone won't be in the library. So that'll work for learning how to organize all that stuff that's in that photos library. Now, if it's very old, when you connect it, it'll have to rearrange the library and update it to whatever operating system you have. So it might take, if there's a lot of photos on it, it might take an hour. It might take something before it's ready to open up. So go ahead and do that between today and next Wednesday. So today's Wednesday, between today and next Monday, so that by the time we meet again, you can have photos here on your computer. They will not connect to the cloud and they will not connect to your phone, but you would still be able to use all the features to organize the ones that are in your hard drive. Okay? They won't,
Okay.
as long as you don't connect that and in the iCloud, turn on the photo. So it's two steps you would have to do. Then as long as you don't do that, then they will be two separate creatures and that's fine. Okay?
But is there any downside if I don't want to mess with the old one? Just keep those separate for now. If I just create, because it was giving me the option of creating a new
You can
photos
create a
folder.
new one, but it won't have photos. So what's the point? It'll be an empty photos library. It's like a bookshelf that'll have nothing in it. So how can you organize anything if there's nothing in it?
But if I then connect it, the computer to the cloud, then it'll download all those that are on the cloud right
You
now.
said you didn't want to do that, but yes, you can do that.
Yeah, I think I've,
If you
Right.
want to connect this to the cloud, you don't need to create a new library. These photos will download and that'll be the library. Yeah.
okay, and if I do that new one, that'll keep the old ones and the new ones separate.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
and other than them being separate, there's no big downside to that.
No, I have from before when I had small phones, I had a library per year. Then I can combine them, but I have many photo libraries. As long as you keep them apart, they stay apart. I don't recommend it for people who are not very good at handling files, but as long as you're comfortable knowing that you have two separate libraries, that's good.
Okay, yeah, I'll figure it out before the next class what I want to do and go ahead and do it.
All you need to do right now to do that is to just, if you want to do the second version, is just put in your password in that settings and then the photos will start pouring into your computer. That
But it's,
need to
but
create
right now it says I have no photo library, so it,
exactly. Connect it, say yes, connect them, and then you'll see if it tells you that you need to create a new one or if it just pours in and makes a library with the one that's in the cloud. But don't
okay,
new one because then you'll have three. So let's first connect your computer to the cloud, and then say yes to making the cloud be connected, and then see if they start working. And if they don't, then let me know. You can do that now while we're talking, and then you can tell me what happens in the next, 20 or 30 minutes.
okay,
All right.
thanks.
And you seem to know your password because you put it in, you got into the cloud, so you're fine. All right, guys, I wanted to see a yes on people who got into their iCloud.com. I only see yes from Kristen, from Colette, and from Blas. I see a no from Georgia, but I have no answers from the rest of you guys. No, Marta, there I see a yes. So Demetria said yes. Rodney, Barbara,
Working on it.
Yolanda, okay. Rodney, I think, had to step out. That's what he said. He was there. Let me see. Okay. Georgia, how can I help you?
I think I missed a step. Um, I,
Going to iCloud.com?
yeah.
Share your screen and let's go to iCloud.com.
Okay, here's share. Um, okay, so I don't know how to go to iCloud.com.
Share your screen first so I can see what you're doing.
I thought I did.
Share and share. It's 2 times you clicked it.
Okay, I did it.
Perfect. All right. So now open a browser, any browser. You happen to have over here, it looks like you go to Google or Safari, wherever, however you go to.
So,
Yeah. And now write iCloud.com at the top or make a new tab if you want to keep this open.
okay, wait, so new tab.
Sign over here.
How
Gives,
about new window?
all right.
Just, all right.
iCloud.com.
Now,
Or you
where
can
is iCloud.com?
click on this icon or you can write up there iCloud.com, which your cursor is already there ready to go.
Right,
Good. Sign in.
right.
And you need to know your, okay, is that your account? Say yep.
Yeah. Password.
I can't read it well. Does it say user password or Apple ID? What's it asking? It's for asking user. So when it asks for the user password, that's just the thing that you turn your computer on. Whatever you do in the morning, you turn your computer on, that password, that's what it means.
Your Apple account. Sign in web near Santa Barbara. Okay. How do they use to sign in on new device? Enter verification code on the web.
Mute you, Barbara, because, okay.
I'm sorry.
This is okay. Agree. Okay.
There you go. And here's your library.
Yep.
Click on that and let's see if the latest photos that you have on your phone are the same as latest photos that you have here. That means that it's syncing. Good. Okay.
It is syncing.
Say okay. Well, you don't know. Go ahead and say okay. And yeah, November 4th. So that's pretty new. Okay, good. Now you can,
Taken anything, any picture since the picture of the hand with a little.
that's fine. So you updated it at 4:07 p.m. So you're good. It's syncing, it's working. Okay, good. Now I'm going to stop your share. We don't normally need to keep the iCloud turned on. Can you handle your photos from the iCloud? Yes. My husband, for example, has an iPhone and a computer and a PC, and he's not high level into photography or whatever, Lightroom and all that like Dimitri is. He just has his phone and he puts his stuff on the cloud, but he has a PC. So to see his photos, he just goes to iCloud.com and handles them from there when he wants them. He doesn't do anything else with his because he doesn't bring them into his PC. He sees them from his PC and iCloud.com. Okay, so there's versions of how to do this to suit all needs. Okay.
Should I keep this on or should I just use the app that's on the computer?
Oh, definitely the app that's on the computer. Yeah. The version on the iCloud is very reduced. You can see them, you can do some work with it, but is much reduced with comparison to what the computer or the phone or the iPad can do. The iCloud is a very limited version. So definitely, it's good to know it's there. It's safe, but it's not the place I would handle my photos from. And my husband doesn't handle them much. He just takes them and then they live there. He doesn't do much with them.
Do I sign out or do I just?
If you don't sign out after like 10 or 15 minutes, I believe you automatically get signed out. But if you're alone in your home and don't care, you don't need to sign out. But if you're about to leave your friend's house and, in Georgia and talk about Georgia, you just did her and clearly that came to mind. If you were in New York visiting your friend, you wouldn't keep it on because it's your account. But in your home, it doesn't matter. You'll get signed out soon enough.
All right.
All right. So here I am sharing my screen again. And I just wanted to show you one more thing here. Remember that we had gone with Owen. I told you guys to open your photo settings. So let's go back. If you have iCloud and all that worked, close that, please. We're not going to use iCloud anymore other than to check to make sure you knew how to get to it. We're not going to use that. But we're still in the Photos app. And we're going to go up to photo and settings, which if you closed, then open that again and go to photo settings. Now over here, I only wanted to see this portion of his photo settings. And then from after that, we moved on and I said, don't touch anything. And I left you at that point, at that dire, don't touch anything, remember? So this is where I wanted to bring you back into this for a minute. I don't want to change too many things. All I want us to do is to go from the general to the iCloud, because this is where we find the equivalent setting that we already turned on the phone. I'm going to go to the iCloud. And in the phone, we had the choice of optimizing the max storage or downloading the originals to the phone, remember? This is where we find it on the computer. Now, on the iPad, it's just like the phone. You'll be able to find those choices on the settings, on the iPad settings, because it doesn't have internal settings for each app on the iPad. So in that sense, it works just like the phone. But for those of us who have a Mac, then the iCloud of the photos settings is where I get to choose whether I want these photos to go up to the cloud or not. Okay, so later when Owen turns his iCloud, connects his computer to the iCloud, this is where you need to have this check mark turned on. Okay, and then we do not want to download the originals to this Mac if our Mac is running out of space. But if we have a lot of space in our computer, maybe you do want to store them in your Mac. It's up to you. But if for any reason you don't want to store them in your Mac, you want everything big to stay up on the cloud, then you optimize Mac storage, which is I highly recommend for the phone. On your computer, it depends on how much space you have taken up by your stuff. So I'm not, again, that one is up to you, and I'm going to just show you rather quickly, but not spend more time on it. If I open my system settings and I go to the general storage, this is not the iCloud storage, but my computer general storage, and I look at how much space my computer has. This is not the iCloud storage, it's my computer. If you're anywhere near the end of the space that your computer has, which I am over here, see, I'm not end, but I'm, 2/3 in, then I definitely have optimized max storage turned on. If I had this downloaded, my computer would be full and I wouldn't be able to do anything in my computer, okay? So that's an example of checking your computer storage, which again is part of my Mac classes here. I'm just showing it to you rather quickly. And it's up to you whether or not you do that. But now, since mine is pretty full, then I'm going to make sure to optimize max storage as well. And whenever I want the big versions of these photos, then I have to go to the download them from that iCloud.com, which we were just at. And then I told you to close and I didn't show you. Darn it. Does someone have the iCloud still? Did someone not close the iCloud and is it still open? I can show you how to download the photos. You know how I said close the iCloud? Does anyone still have it open?
I
No,
don't.
you all followed my instructions nicely. Okay, then let me just rather quickly go to my own. I'm gonna go ahead and share this screen.
Mine's open.
Go to iCloud.com and sign in. I can do that rather quickly because I'm doing it with my fingers. And here I am. So, oh, agree. I guess they have changed conditions. The first, so here are my photos. So when I go into my Photos app, I am seeing the same photos that I was seeing on my computer, yada, yada. And say that I've decided that this photo here is like spectacular and I want to print it really, really big or whatever. This one here, let's say this one that I do think is actually a good one. So it's very simple. I can go up to, I select it, see how it's selected amongst others.
My God.
Yeah. I'm going to go to my pencil. Here we go. So if this is the photo that I have selected, which see how I have selected it, then I go over here and I click on this little cloud that has the bottom arrow pointing down. That means download into my computer. If I had a photo I wanted to upload, I would do that, but that's the download. And so I will do that.
Where does
And
it download to?
I can also, hold on, I can also go here to this photo, to these three little dots that are right there, and I can say download right there. So I'm going to show you where it downloads to by doing it. Now, wait, hold on, let me cancel. Let me take this green, clear this so that we can see everything that's showing up. Here we go. I need to clear that color. So I can either just download, period, or I can go to more download options. Let me just show you what more download options mean. It's going to ask me, do you want the unmodified original as captured? Or if I imported it, say, from my big old camera, my DSLR, do I want to download it that way? Yep. Or did I already make edits on this? Maybe I made edits in Photoshop or in the camera. Maybe I grabbed my phone and edited this photo in my phone. And so the cloud has the edited version. So do I also want to download the version that includes the versions that I've edited, or if I've created it as a raw photo, or do I want just the JPEG? So it gives me options. What do I want to download? Because all of that is in the cloud. Okay. So if I want the unmodified original and I've spent an hour on my phone editing it, when I click on modified original, it's going to go back to scratch. It'll be now the unedited photo. Or if I want the one that I've already edited, then if I want the high res version, I'm going to explain what I mean by that and what kind of files these are. I can choose JPEG or HEIC, or the original, which might be a raw photo. So I'm going to actually choose that one, my unmodified original. I'm going to click on that one. I believe if you don't choose that one, if you just go with download, I'm going to test now. I'm going to go download and see, because I do know that that one got downloaded. I'm going to see whether this one is the same file or if it gives me a JPEG. I don't know which one it's going to give me, but to do that, I'm going to first go my Finder window, downloads, and in my downloads, there's the file that I just downloaded. Boom. Okay. That is in my computer. It's not in my Photos app because the whole point is that I wanted to download it because I wanted to maybe send it to a printer who's going to give me an 18 by 20 or 24 by 60 or whatever image of it. So it downloaded as a file into my downloads computer and it gave me an HEIC version. If I just click download and don't tell it which, let me see what version it gives me. It's probably going to be exactly the same one. Instead, if I tell it to more download options, give me a JPEG. And I'm going to say yes, allow. Then I should see a JPEG arrived. There we go. So I have an HAC and a JPEG of the same image. Okay. And that's as big as it gets. And then I can put it in Lightroom, Photoshop, send it, put it in a brochure, do whatever I want to do with it. Okay.
The
Everyone good with that?
The HEIC is the biggest one?
In this case, if I look over here, let me just move this over, and we haven't even learned how to do photos yet, but yeah. So the HEIC is bigger than my JPEG, okay? But not by much. This isn't a raw file or anything like that. It's just, it was, I'm going to talk for a minute about HEIC or JPEG, but JPEG is every single camera in the world saves their photos as JPEG or RAW. For now, let me just say that that's been the way for, since the beginning of digital photography. RAW started many years later, but we're not talking RAW right now. We're just talking JPEG, and that's something I'll show you in the settings of the photo camera, how to take RAW photos. But for now, we just say that Apple invented the HEIC format.
How you doing?
I'm going to mute Colette. There we go. They invented the HEIC version, which is, as far as Apple is concerned, a better version of a JPEG. The compression doesn't, it's a non-lossy compression versus JPEG. All of this is so technical that I don't really think that it matters to this group too much. Just so you know, the HEIC is a bit bigger. So this is 973 and this is 1,300. Okay, so this is 1,300 because you'd need 1,000 kilobytes to make 1 megabyte. So this is very similar in size. It's 300 kilobytes bigger than that one, but it won't be a lossy format compression, so it'll be better quality than that one. But it is a very small size difference. So HEIC is better quality than a JPEG, but just in case some computers don't know how to handle HEICs, then you can also download it in JPEG version. And that's what just came down. Okay. All right. I'm going to back out of that and back out of this. I just wanted to show you that. Oh, this is the choice of shared library, which if I want to have, I explained it before. It would mean that it would make everyone have the same library versus the shared album. I would make an album that I would say just see these photos of mine, not everything. And then others would give me theirs to see. And I'm going to show you some examples of that. Okay, that's all I wanted to show you. Don't change any of these for now. Don't change any other settings. If we ever need to change these, we're going to come in and change them. This is the photos settings. We can turn it off. Okay. And now I am ready to answer questions. Whose hand is up? Barbara? You're muted.
That's okay. I forgot what I wanted to ask.
Oh.
I think I figured it out.
All right. And I don't see any other
But
hand.
I got into the iCloud. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. Oof. I have a mosquito. The other day I was working here late and I didn't notice, but a mosquito, which, come on, this time of year, a mosquito jumped in here and out of the blue and ate my hand up. And I'm seeing another one. It must have some standing water somewhere. I need to go check because this is not mosquito time.
A hole in the screen.
Yeah, I leave my door open all the time. So, all right. Any questions before we jump into the Photos app per se? So now I'm going to reshare, but this time I'm going to share, well, no, actually for this, I'm still going to share the entire window. Later, I'll be sharing only the photos window, but I'm sharing the entire window because we still have some things to do up there. Okay. So, by the way, I just want to mention that the break that I gave you guys was a little bit early because my alarm was still set up for when I was teaching the class that finished 45 minutes earlier. So the second part of the class is feeling quite a bit longer than the first. I will modify that so that our break will show up about half an hour later for Monday. In case you're counting on what time will have, basically at the middle of the class is where the breaker actually goes. But we still have about 20 more minutes of class. So everyone, we're almost done. But let's focus on setting the photos up in the way that when we all start next week, we'll have all our tools at hand. First of all, some of you guys have done this before on your own, or if you've taken this class earlier on, you might be seeing the file names underneath all these little icons. Oh, first of all, let's clarify. Let's all be clicking on the word library here on the left side. Library, library, library on left side. And all photos in the middle. So basically this, we want to all start at the same place. Library right there and all photos right there. Okay. So those are the two choices that we need to have turned on. And give me a yes once you are seeing them the same way as me, because you might have been inside of albums or things, who knows? I mean, we want to make sure that we're all in the same exact spot before we start. Now some of you might already be seeing things a bit differently. That's fine. I just want to make sure that you have this column on the left side, your selected library, and all photos. And if for chance you were up here somewhere, if you scroll all the way down until you can go no more, you will be seeing here how many photos that you have that are in your entire library, how many videos that you have. And then I'm going to stop there and wait for you to all give me a yes. Yes, Barbara? You're muted again, so if you have something to say, please.
How do you get that left column? Oh, now I've got it.
By making your window bigger,
Now
right?
I've got it. But
It's bigger, you see it.
I don't see library there.
What now? There's a chance that you might not see library. Let me show you what might be happening. If you perchance have collapsed the word photos, then you might not see the word library. Okay. You might just see the word photos. So you need to then
I don't have photos over there either.
okay. Do
I
you have
just
to go
have
down? Okay, share your screen then because your window might be set up.
I was working on it.
Share your screen.
I was trying to get my iCloud things to show.
Your Photos app, because this is not your Photos app. You're in your Finder window. You're not in your
Okay, I have pictures up here, and
Yeah,
then
but-
I have
No, wait, stop. This is the Finder window. This is not your Photos app. So go to your dock.
Did I close this?
Yeah. And I know that you have your Finder, yeah, and go to the right there. Your Photos app is right here. No, you went to your Finder window again. I showed you in green.
Oh, down here.
It's your Photos app.
Okay, let me close this and go down here.
And there we go. So you're in the collections where this is a new one. Okay, so make this bigger. Okay, and now click on the word library. And then all photos, which you do have selected.
Where, oh, here.
And then you have just 12 photos, so we're not going to be able to do.
Well, I've got all kinds of pictures in there, but it's in pictures, not.
Well, it's not the Photos app, which is fine. Pictures is not the Photos app. That is your photos that I know you use them for Photoshop and for Lightroom and for all this stuff, but it is not.
Well, I keep those on an external hard drive.
Yeah. So right now in this library, you don't have any photos to work with. So this is where you said that your photos that are in your phone are going where? So yeah, you showed me the pictures library and that's great. Double click on it. Those- yeah,
Users, Barbara,
lower.
pictures.
Yeah, double click on that. So the way that you're saving your photos here is not through the Photos app. And if you're using it this way,
Okay,
scroll up to the top.
I'm doing it wrong.
To the top. It's not wrong, it's just different. You have two photo libraries here. Photo libraries. One has no photos, is the one that you open, and the other one has 4 gigabytes. So let's open this one, the second one. And that one has a lot of photos. Go ahead and switch. So this is an example of what Owen was saying. He has 2 different libraries. There you go. I knew because you've taken this before. I knew you
So
had.
these are off my phone because
Yeah, that's all we're talking about right now. So now you have library, and now you can scroll down and see how it says November 5th. So this is, in fact, this is
oh, there's the scroller. Okay.
all the way to, no, another direction. Down, 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 all the way down. You had it there before, because now you're in 2019, before you're in 2025. And here's how many photos. And I know this is new because you
Here's
just
how many.
in my Illustrator class, and this is from the other day's class. So I know that you have, this is new. So you're good. You're in the photos library now. Good.
Okay,
I'm gonna work
but
with this. But what?
all photos and library, but I didn't get there at first when you had me.
When you first open the photos app, now you will. If you close this, the last for library used will open. So if you close this and go
Okay.
back to the same icon,
Down to
the right one will open now. It's here actually. I got that
this
one.
one,
Yeah.
photos.
Right. Yeah. Then this one will open because it's the last one you open. So the other one is you had, once you open this one, you will consistently keep opening this one. If you open the other one, you will consistently keep opening the other one. So this is the good one. The other one that has nothing, I would recommend go back to the Finder window and deleting it because there's nothing in it and it's only confusing to you and there's no reason to have it. If I were you, go open a Finder window again, do the same thing you did before. We already checked it. There's nothing in it. Go to this one, the one that's 21 megabytes, right click and send it to the trash. The photos library too. Yeah, right click and move to trash. It's really confusing for the computer when you have more than one photos library. There you go. You're all set. You'll never
Okay,
have
I
it.
goofed, I guess.
Okay.
Now, when I go to
Now when you go to the Photos app, you're opening this one.
when I go down here to the Finder window, this one here.
Yeah, not to open the Photos app. You don't go there anymore. This you might go to find other photos that you have for Lightroom, Photoshop, other stuff, but you don't need to go to the Finder window anymore. From now on, close this, and whenever you want to go to open your Photos app, to see your photos, you go straight
Down here.
here. Yeah, the Photos app. There we go.
Okay, thank you.
Guys, the reason I wanted to clarify is that everyone's photos are, the Photos app grabs photos and kind of bundles them up like Santa Claus puts all the gifts into one bag. This is the Photos app. All your photos are in one app, in one file called Photos Library, which is the one that Barbara was just opening. Now, I recommend never having that available to open because if you trash it, delete it, if you don't know how to handle files, you will be in one fell swoop getting rid of 10,000 photos. Got it? So don't.
Well, these are just these are just from my phone. Anything I take with my cameras on one of my external hard drives.
Which we've talked about before, and it's a choice, or you could have them as well and still use them in Photoshop and Lightroom, even if they come from here. This is just a way to see all your photos in one, and you can see only some of them or all of them. Your choice is to see only your photo stuff, but you could be seeing your other photos in here as well. That's your choice. All right, Marta.
Thank you.
I was just curious because I know at one point I had multiple photo libraries until this all changed over. And so if I go to my users and then I go to, let's see, users, Marta, pictures, I have my photo library, but then I also have another one that says photo booth library. It's only
That's a
8
different app.
bytes.
Photo Booth is a different app. It's a completely different app.
Okay, so I don't have to worry about that.
No, it's a different app completely. if you've used to have more photo libraries, either they've been all compounded into this one as you upgraded different systems, or if you left one somewhere hanging around and you don't have it anymore, you might have lost it. I don't know. But if you only see one photos library and your photos app, photo booth app, that is one photos library that you have. When you get into this one, if you go far back to when you began having a digital camera or digital phone and the dates are right, then that means you have everything here.
I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. The photo booth is an app that is at the beginning of when the photos began to be able to be taken. It was so weird. It just, it was fun. We don't even, do we still have it in our computers? Yeah, I'm looking. I didn't even know if it still existed, but it still does exist. I'm looking at our apps. There it is, photo booth. And before Zoom, before any of the places where you can see, you would turn this on and your computer camera sees you and you can take a picture of yourself, right? And you would go, hi. And it's basically you turn your camera into a photo booth, and that photo went into that photo booth library. That's it. And it doesn't interact with the Photos app. And I don't know that anyone who uses it anymore, but in the past, it was like, whoa, our computer can take photos. You can see yourself in your phone. You know, it was like, how exciting. I don't know of anyone who ever uses it, but who knows? All right. So I didn't even think it came with a computer anymore, but there it is, grandfathered in. Okay, so now that we're in the library and all photos, first thing I want us to see is that we can see these photos just like we see in our phone by default, where they all look square and cute. See how here they're not looking all square and cute? And it's just this little icon right there that if I click on it, they all square up, so to say. And if I click on that again, I see the vertical ones in vertical, the horizontal ones in horizontal. Boom, boom.
Okay.
Now on the phone, it's the default is that your photos appear like this to start with, and you can also change them to be vertical or horizontal. But on the computer, the default is to see them this way. Doesn't matter whichever one you choose to see, just so you know, if you see them this way, it's cutting off, not forever, just visually, the rest of this image. So see this image, it's pretty long here, this one. If I do that, then I'm just cutting off those portions of it, okay? It's here, look at this one that's pretty long. If I do that, I'm just seeing a portion of it. It's being cut off. So if you're looking for a photo that you knew you took, that you had the red shoes on, you might not see your red shoes because you are viewing it in a way that cuts off the sides. Does that make sense? But the photo is still there. When you open it up, the whole thing is there. Okay. Now, the other thing is that we have this little slider here that goes smaller or bigger, and that allows me to see things either really tiny, so I'm seeing thousands and I'm seeing there's a whole year, this is a whole year of photos, or I can go all up and see it pretty big. Neither one really serves me a good purpose right now. Somewhere in the middle is kind of good enough. But depends on how many photos you have. If it gets much smaller than that, then it's hard to really see what my photos are. So, you know, somewhere around there is goody good enough for class. Sometimes I go a bit bigger to see a little bit more, but for the most part, I can either slide it or I can click on this minus minus plus 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 to get it bigger. And then I can scroll up and down. Now this number that I circled at the beginning down here, that's how many total photos and videos you have. And if it says synced with the cloud just now, that means that this would be the latest photos that I've taken with this camera. And just to make sure that the syncing is working, I recommend everyone grab your phone right now and grab your camera and take a little picture of, and this is, I guess, whenever I took this picture, that's what I did, but I'm going to take a picture right now of my screen as we're speaking, and I'm going to say hi with my hand, and boom, I just took that picture. And in a certain amount of time, sometimes it takes a minute, sometimes it takes 10 minutes, depending on Zoom and a bunch of other stuff, but soon enough, a photo will appear over here and it'll be my keyword with my hand in front, and that's the one that I just took today. If I look at the iCloud, it'll first pop in the cloud, and then a little bit later, it'll pop in here. Okay. So everyone go take one picture of your ceiling, your floor, your hand, whatever, just to see, make sure that the system is working. Okay. Now, whenever it appears, it'll appear for, especially when I'm on Zoom and carrying a whole class, it takes a bit longer. Other times it seems to appear instantly. It all depends. All right. A few more things that I want us to turn on. Class will be over relatively soon. And this is important. I want us to go up to the word view, metadata. And if you have check marks all over here, that means you've already done it in another time that you took the class, because this grandfather's in. If you already made this choice, it'll still be there. But for people who see it like me with only one check mark or none, then I want to turn all these on. So how do I do that? I click on the word titles and boom, see how the titles appeared? But that's only titles. I have to go back up to view, back up to metadata, and turn on keywords. And I have to go back up to view and go back to metadata and turn on edited. And I'm going to do that as many times as necessary until every one of these guys has their check mark turned on. And once you do that once, you don't need to do it anymore. So every time I start teaching this class, I have to go and turn them all off again because they stay there, right? So if you've turned them on in the past, they should all be on, but just go check in case there's a new one or something that you had turned off. Now, if I go back and I turn this on again and touch it again, what I've done is effectively turned it off, because when you turn something on and you click on it again, it turns off. So now on again. All right. So that's where I want to end. I want to end where everything, when I go to metadata, these are all turned on. Okay. And then give me a yes. And I'm assuming for some of you guys that just happened right now. And for some of you guys, it was already on. But let's go turn all that information on. I want this to be the center of where I do a lot of my editing, and I want all the information I can have about these photos. Now, what is metadata? It's all the information that comes with a photo that is not part of the image. Titles, keywords, whether I've edited or not, what kind of file it is, whether I make it a favorite or not, where it was taken, all that is important to the photo, but it's got nothing to do with the photo itself. There's not related to the peacock, and I will not see that information in the photo. It's all information that's attached to that image just by the virtue of it being taken. Click. The moment you click, all that metadata is there. Now, there's a bit more, like for example, where it's been edited or not. So I might have edited this photo. That is after the photo was taken. I've added some keywords. That is after the photo was taken. I've made it a favorite. That's me making it a favorite. Okay, so it's not just things that came with the camera, but it's also things that I've added or not to that photo, which you might have already added or not. Okay, so with that turned on, now let me clear your answers. We are getting closer to being able to start working on these photos. On the left side, this is where there's a change. And I'm going to show it to you guys. I kept talking to you again when I said earlier you might want to update before Monday, as if today was Monday, when I kept saying you have between Monday and Wednesday, Wednesday and Monday. But no, today is Wednesday. It's so weird that a class started on Wednesday, and that's why I was confused. This is Wednesday. So between today and Monday, please, if you're going to update your computer, please do so. Hopefully you can do it tonight. So that we all have as much as possible, as long as your computer is able to update. We're all updated to the latest Sequoia. Now, I'm not asking you to go to Tahoe, but to the latest Sequoia. So over here on the left side, it says the word photos and library. And then when you keep going down, it says devices only because I have my phone connected. If you don't have your phone connected, you won't see that. Yes, I have it connected with a cable to the computer because I'm sharing my screen with you and I do it by cable. And so it's appearing over there, but most of people won't have the word devices there. And then it goes down to the word collections. And this word collections is new. Okay? People who haven't updated their operating system do not see the word collections there. I don't remember the word that used to be there. Can somebody tell me what it said here? Someone who didn't update? Hello?
Okay, where are you? Walk me there and I'll tell you what it says.
Well, maybe I need to have someone share their screen so I can see it. Let me just show you anyway.
It,
Uh,
I can answer that for you, I think.
yes, please,
It
Marta.
says, under collections, it says days, people and pets, memories, trips,
You
featured
have the same
photos.
thing as me. Okay. So then that's the same as me. There was one, maybe it's two updates ago. So everyone is seeing collections?
Yes.
Well, that's good news then. Down here, if you're all seeing it the same way as me, then that's good. Maybe it was two updates ago that this changed visually. That used to not be
Mine's still different.
in the maybe it really will not change until we go to Tahoe. It has changed on the phones. Let me open my Tahoe computer here. Yeah, because right now in the Tahoe version that I have, instead of saying photos, library favorites map or whatever, the only thing on top that it says is library and collections. That's it. It says 2 words. That's it. All of this disappears. And then instead of collections, it says pinned. And then it says a bunch of stuff and whatever. So it's the same features. There's only one new feature that I can tell. It's exactly the same features, but they've changed order, completely changed order. Okay. The only one that, and the days has disappeared. They don't have days anymore. So for the most part, they've gotten rid of days and which was kind of useless anyway. And they've added one. When we get to that, we'll see that. But anyway, so, but it says libraries and collections on top. Okay. And then you get to choose what things you put up here instead of the computer choosing what it puts up here. So it gives you more choices, but it looks different enough that people might have gotten confused. Okay, so then even if you update or not to Sequoia, I guess right now it won't make such a change, won't make such a difference. That's good to know. All right. Looking at the time, it's exactly 4:45 p.m. As long as everything is turned on, I'm going to go ahead and today leave you at exactly 4:45 p.m. instead of as usual answering questions. I will see you on Monday. Update your computers, check on all of these details, take photos. And mostly if you don't take videos, take some videos. Because when we get to editing videos, if you take short ones, okay, little tiny, 10-second, 15-second videos, don't take long ones. All right. I'll see you guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. We'll see you Monday. Monday? Yeah.
You on Monday.
Monday.